This is a presentation of the Oklahoma Sports Network.
Any other use of this telecast or any pictures, descriptions, or accounts of the game without the Oklahoma Sports Network's consent is prohibited. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be used without express written consent.
All right, welcome to the Oklahoma Sports Network. This is Tracy Mussett and Jordan Ray, and we are at Carl Albert tonight for a district matchup between the Carl Albert Titans and the Crossings Christian Knights. We've got the girls' game first, of course, followed up by the boys' game. And with the girls' game, Jordan, you know these teams a little bit better, have more experience with them than I do, and you're able to talk to some of the seniors, or the three seniors, from Carl Albert this week, Asha Moore, Lainey Moore, and Shelby Rouchet. And so what do we know about Carl Albert and the girls and how they're playing right now and these seniors?
Okay, just to correct you, Ted, I don't know much about Crossings. We're going to find out about the girls' team. Obviously, what makes this a sexy matchup tonight is the boys' game, but we're looking forward to the girls' game still anyway, because Carl Albert had a big win Tuesday against Shawnee. And by winning that game, they've put themselves in position to get a 2 seed. They need a little bit of help, and you know what comes with needing a little bit of help? That means you have to win out. So this is an important game. Every game's important for them. In order for them to get a 2 seed, which is a priority to Coach Ritchie and his players, they got to win tonight.
Now we're talking about the boys, the girls with that 2 seed, right?
Yeah,
Sorry.
We'll talk more about where the boys' situation is when we get close to the boys' game. But yeah, the girls. Big win against Shawnee, again, because they lost to Shawnee at Shawnee in January. So they rebounded from that, and they got Skylar Anderson back. We'll talk more about that.
Okay, awesome. So the three seniors, Asha Moore, Shelby Rouchet, Lainey Moore, that's the only 3 seniors on this roster. So this girls team playing pretty well, but a lot of younger players on it and not real top-heavy when it comes to upperclassmen. And only 2 juniors on the team as well, I believe.
Yeah, it's going to be a team. The sophomores that Carl Albert relies on now, they're going to rely on, obviously, for years to come. And they're getting some freshmen involved in some of these rotation minutes as well.
Yeah, and as we talk about some of those sophomores, you're going to hear their names a lot during the game tonight, like Skylar Anderson you were talking about, Jakari Brown, Essence Curry. I mean, these girls can just flat out go. They play ball well, and it's going to be a fun game tonight. Now, the reality of it is, this is a game the girls should win, right? So the boys' game is one that we hope, with Carl Albert playing a lot better, that they can come out and get the redemption win tonight. With the girls' game, we expect them to win, but when you have that game, you have to stay focused, because when you come in expecting to run away with one or just to be the more dominant team, it's real easy to have that team just jump up and bite you a little bit, especially early in the game.
And Carl Albert has struggled not recently necessarily, but at times early in the games. We saw that on the Oklahoma Sports Network against Guthrie. They didn't start in our game against Elgin that well. Of course, in that game, one more sophomore we got to recognize who won player of the game that day was Audrey Plunkett. So she's going to be relied on for a lot too. All right, so coming up, we got the interview I had yesterday with those 3 seniors that Tracy mentioned. That's coming up right now in a couple minutes, I should say, right here on the Oklahoma Sports Network.
When it comes to your home, you need someone that you can trust to keep it safe and protected for you and your family.
Vesta Foundation Solutions is your local, family-owned company that has helped many homeowners fix and protect their homes.
Our engineered solutions can take care of all of your foundation repair, basement waterproofing, concrete leveling, and dirt crawl space repair needs.
We take pride in getting the job done right, and you'll always be protected with up to a 75-year warranty.
Contact us today for a free estimate.
I'm happy to be joined by their 3 seniors, in no particular order, actually is in order. Asha Moore, Shelby, is it Roosh? Rushi. Okay, sometimes struggle with that one. And Lainey Moore. Happy to be joined by all 3 of you. First of all, let's state the obvious. Asha and Lainey, you're not related, right?
Yeah, we are. We
yeah?
are, yes.
Okay.
I'm just kidding. No, we're not. That
was fun. I think last year you had a couple other players with the last name Moore on the team. And
like 4.
Yeah, we had like Tori, Tori Moore.
And none of you were related, was it?
No.
So I thought that was fascinating. And I do remember games we would announce, and if they would come in after you two would play, I would like to say, oh, there's more and more Moores out there. Anyway, but just the 2 of you now. Okay, so let's talk about the very important win last night against Shawnee. So they beat you 41-33 in January. Mm-hmm. I'll ask all 3 of you, what went better for you? Obviously you scored more points, but what specifically did you do better?
You want me to go
Asha, let's start with you.
I felt like this time around we played more like a team. I feel like the first loss, we had a lot of finger pointing. We had a lot of he said, she said. We didn't really take any accountability. So I think as the season's progressed, we've really gotten closer as a team. We've really established leadership roles. And I think for 1, that was it. And for 2, it was definitely the rebounding. We cleaned that up a lot. And we ended up winning the game. I think we did those 2 things really well.
Shelby, what do you think?
I think we knew that we have something on the line, and if we weren't going to get that done, we weren't hosting. Mm-hmm. So that brought more energy to the game and got the job done.
Sure. Lainey?
I just think the team bonding has just gotten better, and everybody's just like playing their role on the team now, and we've just like all accepted our roles, and we've just came into realization of what we need to do.
Okay, but Shelby, you mentioned hosting. So does Coach Ritchie, does he mention that a bit? Like, hey, this is what's at stake here, the potential to no one's catching El Reno, but you can finish second, you still host.
Yes, that's our ultimate goal, is to host and then go from there.
Okay, so this brings up an interesting question for me. Since they beat you by 8, if you had to get a tiebreaker against them, you had to win by 9. Did he even say that to you? Or
we talked about it a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's because this is brand new to Oklahoma high school basketball, this district thing where now winning by a certain margin can matter a lot. I've dealt with it now in football, but it's new in basketball. But ultimately you just need to get the win.
Right.
Asha, I feel like you've been shooting more threes this year. I mean, someone has to fill in the shooting for players like Cam and and Diaz as well. But
yes.
How is that something that you made a point to work on, during the season?
Not really, honestly. I think a lot of it was Coach Banks always told me like I had the skill, but in the game, like when I was a sophomore and junior, like I made a few moves, but I wasn't really confident. But I think confidence goes a long way. Honestly, I just be letting it fly. Hopefully, it go in, because I mean somebody got to shoot. So that's what I be doing.
Well, I mean, you wouldn't have won the McGinnis game without you doing that.
Yeah, that was a terrible game at first.
Yeah. Were you down 18 early in the third quarter, and that's also when Skylar got hurt, so that was part of it. But
yeah, once she went down, I knew that somebody kind of had to step up because she does take a lot of shots. But I don't know, I was seeing openings, and it was just kind of going our way, and I'm glad that we won that game. But, I talked to Richie after that. I knew we had to change something because you can't be down 20 points in the third quarter and expect to win every game. So
yeah, not at home, too.
Right.
But,
first round, too.
And Lainey, I got to admit, I'm not just saying this, but when you come in, sometimes I think the refs pick on you. You ever feel that way?
Yeah.
You can say it here.
Yeah.
In other words, and what I specifically mean is you'll be very well positioned vertically on defense, and they still think you breathe too hard on the shooter or something. Do you ever feel that?
I mean, coming from being kind of tall and you have these tiny little point guards coming in at me, I don't think sometimes they don't think that they're actually coming at me like full force, but they do. But they just don't want to call the charge half the time.
Maybe they exaggerate the contact a bit.
Yeah.
Okay. What's Coach Ritchie like? Because one thing I'll say about him that I know, I'm not around him nearly as much as you ladies are. I hope we'll get some funny answers here. So he's great at yelling, raising his voice and yelling, but you can tell he's not angry when he does it. Like you can tell, you hear him yell, you can hear his voice, but you're like, yeah, he's not angry. So anyway, does he ever get angry?
Oh, yeah, he be getting angry. I think he gets angry a lot because he knows the potential that we have, and we don't live up to that all the time. But I think a lot of it is you kind of have to listen to what he's saying and not how he's saying it. And me and him, we butted heads a lot in the past and still sometimes to this day, but, like, you will never question his loyalty to his players. I mean, he's loyal to us. He does right by us. He does things when nobody's looking, you know. And honestly, I be thinking people hating him for no reason, you know. Like, that's my guy. As we've gotten older and as we've grown in our relationship, like, that's my guy. I love Coach Ritchie.
If you've lived in Oklahoma long enough, you'll know that we get extreme weather. With that extreme weather comes hail damage to your roof and an insurance claim. When that happens, there's not a better company to deal with on your insurance claim than Cantrell Roofing and Construction. Since 1987, Cantrell Roofing and Construction has proven to be the best in the business, and always remember, got hail? Call Cantrell. Call them at 405-642-8558.
Welcome to the Oklahoma Sports Network. This is Tracy Mussett, Jordan Ray. We're at Carl Albert High School tonight where the Carl Albert Titans host the Crossings Christian Knights. Starting lineups being introduced right now.
Hoping to have a connection there. Not quite working, but we'll go ahead and show you the Carl Albert girls starters as they're announced here.
And now, the starting lineup for your girls, Carl Albert Titans. Number 12, a sophomore, 5'8" guard, Skylar Anderson. Number 15, sophomore guard, 5'5", Kari Brown. Sophomore, 5'5", guard, number 20, Essence Curry. Sophomore, 5'10", guard, number 23, Audrey Plunkett. And a senior, 5'9", guard, number 24, Asha Moore. Your Titans are coached by head coach Kyle Ritchie, assistant coach Robert Banks and Mike Baker.
All right, so let's show the starting lineups one more time. And the big news, Skylar Anderson making her first start since injuring her ankle a few weeks ago. All right, Tracy, who brings us the starting lineups?
So starting lineups for the Crossings Christian Knights. Number 0, Clara Beebe. Number 3, Brooklyn Boren. Number 12, Hadley Holloman. Number 13, Holland Robertson. And number 20, Allison Hickey. For the Carl Albert Lady Titans, it is a young cast with one senior out there on the court. Number 12, Skylar Anderson. Number 15, Jakari Brown. Number 20, Essence Curry. Number 23, Audrey Plunkett. And the senior, number 24, Asha Moore. And those starting lineups brought to you by Dynamic Health at Dynamic Health Clinic. Dr. Kaufman specializes in athletic injuries and is able to get athletes back in action very quickly using a system called Advanced Muscle Integration. Play better and recover faster at Dynamic Health Clinic. The opening tip-off here goes to the Crossings Christian Knights. It's Beebe with the ball. They set up their offense. Carl Albert setting back in his own defense now. Well, I say that. It looks like actually it is a man. I thought they were going to settle into his own, but they are manning up.
As we normally see from Coach Ritchie. And he definitely wants to play man against teams at the bottom of the district standings.
Drive on the baseline, foul called. Shot kind of out of control, but she did a good job of going into the defender.
Asha Moore, probably if she had both her arms straight up, I think she might have avoided that foul, maybe.
Well, she had both. I think she had both arms, but she got her body turned kind of sideways and backwards, and so really didn't face up the ball carrier.
I thought her left arm there was contact with the left arm, and maybe that was part of it. But maybe you're right.
BB hits the first of the 2 free throws. Free throws brought to you by Toonie Buys Houses. Second free throw is up as well. Also good, and the score's 2-0 early with Crossings Christian. The Lady Knights leading the Lady Titans. Toonie Buys Houses. They buy homes in any conditions. If you or someone you know needs to sell a home for any reason, call them today for a cash offer. 931-3046. Skip pass by the Titans. Ball high off the glass, kind of thrown up over the top of her head, high off the glass and in the bucket. Good for Skylar Anderson.
See that again with Super Subs instant replay. It's great if she gets off to a good start because, again, this is her first start in several weeks.
2-2 the score. Turnover here as the Titans pushing the ball right back down the court. Curry off the glass, underhand scoop, and she puts it in for 2.
It could have been Curry, could have been Skylar Anderson, but the key there, the block shot and the recovery by Audrey Plunkett, who won player of the game last time we were here calling the game, Tracy, because of her defense. And she's showing it again, what she can do on that end.
BB in trouble. Skip pass, finds a man under the basket. Good. Oh, no good. Wide open rebound goes to Plunkett. She finds a man under the basket, and it's Anderson missing the layup on the other end. Crossings has the rebound.
Just as I compliment her defense, she got beat on a lob play, didn't Plunkett, but they missed the shot, did Crossings.
And another turnover. That's 2 turnovers now for Crossings. Curry has the layup. She goes from the left side but puts it up with the right hand, and it is a 4-point lead, 6-2. Titans over the Crossings Christian Knights as we have a timeout called.
30-second timeout. What we're seeing early on is Crossings cannot run with Carl Albert at the moment, and even when she's not 100%, it's really hard to keep up with Skylar Anderson. She runs and runs and runs, and she already has a couple layups from that. Well, she had one miss, but then Essence Curry also will lead the transition very well. So that's going to be the challenge for Crossings. They have to get back on defense. They may need to sacrifice offensive rebounding to that point.
Yeah, transition points I think are going to come by the bucket loads in this game.
Yeah, so what can we expect from Carl Albert? If you want to look for more than just a win, if that's what happens, there's still a lot of game to play. It's just, again, how does Skylar Anderson look? Because she had a kind of a nasty ankle injury 3 weeks ago exactly against Bishop McGuinness.
Well, she's moving well on that ankle out there now, including her side slide, on defense. And offensive foul called as it is Asha Moore standing in there and taking the charge. Really, she hit the ground hard. It didn't look like the contact was that hard, but she did a good job of holding her own.
Asha Moore has been in this system for a while, so she knows that they're expected to draw charges when they protect the paint.
1 foul now on each team. That's 3 turnovers on Crossings Christian in the ball game here in the first period. Moore out top. She passes off to Jakari Brown, and now Anderson. Wild pass from Brown back to Moore. Moore chases it down. Now Moore in the paint, puts up a little floater, good for 2.
She's got so many talents as Asha Moore. She knows exactly where to move.
And some contact in there as Jakari Brown's going to pick up her first personal second team foul. So 8-2 the score. 3 players having scored for Carl Albert. BB takes the inbound pass, still in the backcourt. Curry waits for her at the half-court line. Ball handed off. Driving ends, Allison Hickey. She puts one off the glass. Shot no good. And Plunkett does a good job of tipping the ball away and then coming up with the rebound herself. She kicks the ball out on the fast break, and now Carl Albert swings the ball all the way around the corner. Anderson rims out on the 3. Rebound by Crossings Christian. Bourne pushing the ball up the court. It goes out of bounds in the corner, and there's another turnover for the Lady Knights. 4 turnovers for the Lady Knights here in the first period.
One thing worth pointing out, why is Crossings Christian girls team in 5A? It's because of their boys team success, which is kind of a rough deal. they have a good program, but they, ADM-wise, are at about the 3A level. And they got to play a lot of 5A teams.
Now, I have noticed, and that begs a question, as I've put together brackets for the other classes as the playoffs are about to start in the lower classes here, actually tonight in Class B, and then next week in classes 2A, 3A, 4A. Lincoln Christian girls and boys are in different classes in the playoffs.
I did not know that.
And I'm trying to figure out how that works.
Well, I know it can't happen in 5A and 6A because you're depending so much on district play. That only takes place at those classes.
That's the difference is district play. That's right. Okay.
So it kind of makes sense where at the 3A or 4A level you could play, because I know Midwest City, when they were in 5A for the first time in basketball 2 years ago, they played a 6A schedule in a 6A conference, but then they weren't in the 6A playoffs.
Right. Yeah, no doubt the district play makes the difference in 5A and 6A, but now at the lower levels they have changed the rule where the lower classes where they can be in different classes come playoff time. That's real interesting with the brackets, the way the brackets have been laid out. There's a three by Carl Albert, front of the rim, shot no good. Ball tipped out of bounds by Plunkett. It's Crossings Christian ball. 8-2 the score with 3.5 minutes to play in the first period.
Crossings Christian, coached by Jason Nave. I think he has the right half-court defense in mind, the 2-3 zone. Carl Albert has one basket against it, and otherwise they're struggling from three-point shooting, which is something we need to talk about throughout the game.
Nice left-hand layup put up by BB, and she has all 4 points for the Lady Knights.
She's also only a sophomore, but she has shown to be the strongest ball handler on the team. And when you're losing like this early on because of pressure and stuff, that's when you need to step up.
Anderson fires a three from the left corner. It goes off back iron. And Plunkett comes up with a rebound, kicks it out to Curry. Curry's fouled as she drives in the paint. That foul should be on number 12, Hadley Holloman.
It's a good foul on her part, on Holloman, because Asha Moore hit the three. That will not count. And that's something that Carl Albert needs to do. They're going to bring Evie Mitchell in, and she started for Skylar Anderson these last several games. They're going to see some zones probably in the playoffs. They need to be able to hit the outside shot and not do that, double dribble.
Yeah, Curry tried to pick up her dribble to take a shot from the elbow. Just didn't get a handle on it. Was a little indecisive. Ends up putting it back on the court. Double dribble called. Full court pressure coming by Carl Albert. Crossings hasn't had much pressure with getting the ball across half court. It's settling down and doing something with it once they get across the timeline.
And I think if Carl Albert, they have the athleticism. What they missed from last year is the three-point shooting. They have the athleticism to be a good pressure team. Just got to be careful about back doors.
Boy, that was a nice pass. BB misses the layup. That was a nice dish from her teammate. Curry pushing the ball up the court. And in the game is number 11, Evie Mitchell. I don't know if we caught that earlier or not. There's a steal by Crossings. Boren goes the length of the court, pulls up, lets Moore run by, and she scores the bucket.
Yeah, we were talking about this game too early like it was all Carl Albert.
And there's a three off target by Curry, rebound by Crossings. Long pass down the court. BB chases it down in the corner. She was about to be trapped, lost the handle on the ball, and I guess it was tipped up by Carl Albert. Yeah. It's a 2-point game now, Jordan. 8-6 with 2 minutes to play, and there's 4 fouls on Carl Albert, so the next Carl Albert foul leads to 2 shots for Crossings. Long time to get the ball in. There's a three from the right wing. It's long. Anderson gets the rebound. She's moving up the court, doing just fine. Moore out on the right wing now, looking inside. Number 44, Laney Moore in the game. Mitchell out top. Anderson three, left wing. High, bounces back over the backboard into the support structure, out of bounds. This is team rebound for Crossings. 1:50 to play here in the first period.
Well, one thing we will see, Carl Albert will try to shoot themselves in the game if their three-point shot's not making it. They'll keep going and going, and eventually at home they usually start to string them together.
Our first period, by the way, brought to you by Buffalo Wild Wings, 5500 Tinker Diagonal, Del City. Come to Buffalo Wild Wings, support your favorite Mid-Dale winter sports team. Download the team card on your phone, show your waiter, and your team will get 10% off the proceeds.
Got instant super subs, instant replay for you as Asha Moore running the floor gets the N1. You know, there's a reason she hasn't come out. All the other players have come out, the starters for Carl Albert, because they had a bit of a bad stretch against Crossings. But Asha Moore's been solid this whole game on both ends, even with an early foul.
So the free throw coming to you by Toonie Buys Houses. And Asha Moore hits the free throw, extends that lead back to 5, 11-6 the score with a minute and a half to play in the first period. BB pushing the ball off the court. She gets there in a hurry, pretty quick. The foul on Moore, Moore was fouled by Allison Hickey. She picked up her first personal, third team foul. A minute 10 on the clock, first period now. Crossing's taking their time. Mitchell reaching around. Lucky she didn't get called for a foul, and we're going to have an offensive foul. Wow. Lainey Moore doing a good job standing her ground in there, but I thought maybe that might have been a no-call situation, honestly.
Looked like Corrine McGrath was wide open for Crossings, but her teammate didn't see her and got called for a charge.
Yeah, and that's the second personal foul on Allison Hickey, fourth team foul on Crossings now, both teams with 4 fouls. Ball tipped by number 1. I do not have a number 1 on my roster.
Me neither. So that was
3 in the corner, no good. Crossings gets the rebound, 39 seconds to play in the first. And ball tipped and not tipped, just thrown away by Crossings. There's another turnover. 6 turnovers by Crossings Christian. Now, actually 7. I forgot the other offensive foul. 7 turnovers by Crossings Christian in the first period.
A couple of them are offensive fouls. But, you know, that's definitely what Carlbert wants to do. They want to speed this game up, especially on the defensive end.
Asha Moore under the basket, takes the pass, goes up, draws the foul. She's going back to the line for some new more Toonie Buys Houses free throws.
You know, on the coaches' show yesterday, I was probably a little critical, too much so, of the Carl Albert sophomores, because I was just kind of trying to get the senior players to joke around with that. But you do see subtle differences between Asha Moore, who's been in the system for years, and the other sophomores who start, and just that she knows where to be at the right place at the right time very consistently. And that's going to come for the other sophomores as they get more experience, the other 4 stars, I should say. But that's just Asha Moore. There's so many nuances to this game that she excels at.
Well, Asha Moore drops both of those free throws in the basket. Toonie Buys Houses free throws, and the lead is back to 7 now, 13, or should say up to 7 now, 13-6. 25 seconds to play in the first. Crossings has the ball. BB's pushing it up the court. Mitchell's on her. Boren now out top, hands right back to BB. We're down to 15 seconds. A lot of dribbling out top going on. BB looking for somewhere to go with the ball. Boren picks her up her dribble. Ball's tipped away. Scramble for the loose ball. And it is Carl Albert coming up with it. 1 second. Shot's not going to get off in time after 1 period of play.
Too bad.
Jakari Brown banks it off the glass, but is about a half second after the buzzer before she released it. No doubt about that, folks. It's a 7-point game after 1 period of play, 13-6. What a great starting period, brought to you by Buffalo Wild Wings here by the Carl Albert Lady Titans. And we're going to take a break to hear from our sponsors here on the Oklahoma Sports Network.
Experience the best wash in town at Tommy's Express. You'll love our open and bright tunnels, easy loading flat belt conveyor, unlimited membership, and free vacuums and mat washers. Experience the difference and visit Tommy's Express today.
Welcome back to the Oklahoma Sports Network. Tracy Mussett, Jordan Ray, Carl Albert High School district game, 5A1 district game between the Carl Albert Lady Titans and the Crossings Christian Lady Knights. Our second period brought to you by Casa Juanito. Casa Juanito is a quick service restaurant offering fresh and flavorful fiesta meals in Del City, Oklahoma since 1976, almost 50 years. Located at 4718 Southeast 29th Street in Del City. It's the Carl Albert Lady Titans leading by 7 after one period of play. 13-6 is the score. There's a three from the right wing put up by Jakari Brown. Rebound and the putback by Audrey Plunkett.
She should do that a lot, crash the offensive glass because of her size and athleticism. And Crossings, that's one thing that they do some good things with the 2-3 zone, but they're not rebounding. They're not in rebounding position very well.
And shot put up from the baseline by BB. No good. Rebound by Carl Albert. And Carl Albert has a pretty significant size difference, and I'm not just talking about height, but muscle, strength, mass in the paint. So they're going to pull down a lot more rebounds than Crossings is. Missed shot by Carl Albert leads to a rebound by Crossings. Bourne puts up one off the glass, shot no good. Chases down, long rebound, goes back into the hands of Crossings. Down low, three from the right wing. Shot's no good. You know, we have not had a made three, and we've had quite a few shot, but we have not had a made three in this game yet.
Well, as long as Crossing stays in the 2-3 zone, we're going to keep seeing threes.
Carl Albert, some long passes across the paint here. Plunkett trying to back down her defender, pulls up at the free throw line, off the glass, and a good rebound. Nice hustle in there by Shelby Rouchet.
Tried to throw it off the foot of a Crossings player, but couldn't quite execute that.
I may have this wrong, but I had that as the first turnover by Carl Albert in the ball game.
They did give up a steal and score, but not too many though. You're right about that.
15-6 the score. Carl Albert leading Crossings with 5:55 to play in the second period. Three from the left wing, and that one a little long as well. Jakari Brown with the rebound. She's pushing it up the court. It's a 2-on-3. She's going to pass off to the wing. Three put up by Lainey Moore. Back iron no good. Another great battle. Shelby Rouchet is doing a good job of getting in there among the defenders and right in the middle of them and battling for rebounds.
Yeah, she told me when we talked to her last night that's what she wants to bring is energy. And again, Carl Albert, looks like it's Crossings ball, but Carl Albert will be in a full court press. They need to be aggressive on the offensive glass. I think that Crossings is not in position very well on the defensive glass for them when they're in the 2-3 zone.
BB driving in off the glass too high, and a rebound by Skylar Anderson. Anderson pushing the ball down the court, a little long. Jakari Brown chases it down, and now Carl Albert sets their offense back up. Curry drives in, kicks it out. Plunkett for three, long. Asha Moore comes up with a bouncing rebound, and I believe we're going to have a foul on the floor. Well, I thought he was going to call a travel the way he did his hands for a second.
Yeah, it did look like it, and I definitely wasn't seeing that. That was a good three for Carl Albert. It's way off, and I think that's, again, that can be an Achilles heel for them is the outside shooting, especially against a zone.
So Hadley Holloman picks up her second personal. First team foul here in the second period. Nice shot off the glass by Essence Curry. She has 6 points in the ball game, and the lead 17-6 for Carl Albert.
That's a great time to attack a 2-3 zone when the balls rotate to you and you attack on the catch. Just make sure that you dribble before you start moving your feet. Essence Curry did a good job of that, and she picked a good spot to shoot and use the backboard.
Curry did a good job getting down the court and providing help on a trap on the other end, deflecting the ball into the stands. Now Plunkett gets a hand on a dribble, knocks it loose, and are we going to have a foul or do we have a timeout called? Plunkett had a one-man trap going there with that long reach of hers.
She can do that.
4:51 to play in the second period. 17-6 is the score. We got a full timeout. We'll take a break to hear from a sponsor here on the Oklahoma Sports Network.
Where sports is our middle name. We are the Oklahoma Sports Network.
Have you ever seen an insurance commercial and asked yourself, are they really telling me the truth? Well, guess what? They're not.
Somebody runs a red light, and you think all of a sudden their insurance company's going to be all neighborly about it? Insurance companies aren't in the business of saving you money. They're in the business of keeping your money.
So remember, save our number in your phone so when tragedy strikes,
Call Rob and Will.
And this is Tracy Mussett, Jordan Ray with Oklahoma Sports Network back at Carl Albert High School. District 5A1 games tonight. Carl Albert hosting Crossings Christian. It's the Carl Albert girls leading 17-6 with 4:51 to play in the second period. The second period brought to you by Casa Juanito in Del City. Crossings ball coming out of the timeout.
1-3-1 defense for Carl Albert with Plunkett at the top, which that can be really effective with her length.
Yeah, her length is pretty amazing. I mean, she's got some height, but she just got that, seems like that extra length with those arms, too. Rebound by Essence Curry. She's pushing the ball up the court. Skylar Anderson saves the pass from going out of bounds, but drops it right into the hands of Allison Hickey for Crossing. She goes in and a foul. She's going to get an and one as the foul is called on Asha Moore.
No, you have a live ball turnover on that, and I don't blame Skylar Anderson for trying to save it towards her basket because that's what you're taught to do. Unfortunately, she didn't have a teammate there. And when we've seen Crossing score, it's been off a turnover, or that's one of the times we've seen them score, when they can push the ball.
17-8 the score, and Allison Hickey about to shoot the Toonie Buys Houses free throw.
By the way, I think that's the second foul on Asha Moore, and she's coming out for that.
Yeah, she has two now. Brown on the right wing, skip pass. And Evie Mitchell, I apologize for mispronouncing her name earlier, with the ball. Now Plunkett in the paint, kicks it out. Anderson for three from the corner, long. Plunkett chases down the rebound. She's in the right corner. And, boy, Carl Albert doing a great job of moving away from the ball right now. And floater in the paint. Essence Curry puts that one in for two. She has 8 points now.
She's getting more comfortable as far as knowing when to attack the zone. She's picked the right spots. You can't just do it right away. You have to rotate the ball before you can really penetrate, and she's done a good job of knowing when to do that.
And then she reaches in on the backside of the ball carrier and tips the ball away here, creating another turnover. Evie Mitchell for three. Shot no good. Curry tips it out, but it goes out of bounds. Crossing's ball.
Not that Asha Moore couldn't play like a guard, but this is an all-guard lineup right now in a way for Carl Albert. You know, Skylar Anderson's kind of considered a front court player, so is Plunkett, but they have that guard speed.
And Moore gets a hand on the ball again, punches it away, but Beebe comes up with it. She tries to throw the long pass to her teammate and throws it way out of bounds. That is 9 turnovers now for Crossings Christian.
So when you speed up a team, they make passes like that when they're not comfortable.
Curry bringing the ball up the court slowly, still in the backcourt, crosses the timeline now, sets up the offense. Evie Mitchell takes the ball on the left wing, pass inside, got a high post position for Plunkett, and then she kicks it back out. Little pressure there from the defender, some contact, and Anderson just goes in among several defenders, tries to reach up with a pass, and smart play as she draws the foul.
Yeah, I think she surprised both defenders with the way she tried to split them, and very effective at drawing that foul. That shot had no chance to go in, I don't think, but that's not what she was going for there.
Carly Little picks up her first personal. Skylar Anderson hits the first of 2 free throws. These free throws brought to you once again by Toonie Buys Houses.
We also want to thank our three-point sponsor, Bobby Lewis. We just haven't had the chance to thank him. But at some point, Carl Albert will break through here. It'll probably be at the other goal. I think they shoot threes better at the other goal. That's closer to their bench.
There you go.
That's how it worked against Bishop McGinnis when they came back from 18, thanks to Asha Moore hitting a bunch of threes in the second half.
Skylar Anderson hit both of those free throws, so she has 4 points in the ball game now, and it's a 13-point lead for Carl Albert. Foul on Carl Albert, that one going against Evie Mitchell, her first personal foul. second team foul here in the second period with 2.5 minutes to play to halftime.
You know, when you get to 2:38 to go in the half and you have now only 2 fouls on the team and you yourself are not in foul trouble, that's when you can be aggressive.
Absolutely. BB picks up a loose ball, drives in, tipped away. Anderson does a great job.
She was behind the ball handler when she got that steal. That is unbelievably impressive.
Yeah, and then she does a little dribble behind her back in the paint. 3 from the corner by Curry. That one hits the back of the iron, kicks back out. Evie Mitchell from the elbow. It's short. Rebound Boren. She's behind her back dribbling now in the backcourt. Gets the ball over to Little, and Little helps them get the ball up the court. And Carl Albert getting aggressive. Evie Mitchell putting some pressure, causing the turnover as a travel is called on Crossings Christian with 2 minutes to play in the half.
She picked a good spot. I mean, she took the offensive player by surprise there. And when they don't see you coming, they have to turn around, and immediately you're right by them. They can kind of commit a travel because they panic like that. Nice shot there by Plunkett.
Plunkett caught that ball at the left elbow, turns around to face up the basket, and realizes, kind of shockingly, you could almost see in her body posture that no one was around her. Hits the easy bucket.
Well, that is considered a soft spot against the 2-3 zone, is that high post, especially if that pass comes from the elbow.
Plunkett passes off Brown. Brown into the corner to Evie Mitchell. Now Curry sets up the offense. Anderson, 3 from the left wing. A little long. Brown gets the rebound, kicks it inside. Mitchell misses the shot. Anderson gets the rebound, fouled on the putback. She's going back to the line for more Toonie Buys Houses free throws.
Well, there are just times when Skylar Anderson, it's like there's 2 of her on the floor. You see it when she had that great steal on the other end, and now going back to the free throw line because she just hustles so much and covers so much ground so quickly.
Brooklyn Boren called for the foul. Anderson with the Toonie Buys Houses free throws. We'll go ahead and say it again here, folks. We're getting to say Toonie Buys Houses a lot, but his phone number is 405-931-3046. They buy homes in any condition, so if you need to sell a home quick for any reason, give them a call today for a cash offer.
You see Laney Moore check in, probably to make sure Plunkett, who's coming out, doesn't get one more foul before we get to the halftime.
Anderson hits that free throw, and with 1:11 left to play in the first half, it is a 17-point lead now for Carl Albert. BB bringing the ball up the court. Curry on defense. BB loses her dribble, picks it up. Under a minute to play in the half. Hickey in trouble, passes back off to BB. BB covered up by Curry, and Hickey in the paint.
Nice
puts
move.
up a little shot in the paint from about 4 feet out and gets it to go.
Got that with her left hand.
4 points for Crossings in the second period, all of them coming at the hands of Allison Hickey. Carl Albert holding the ball. We have just 30 seconds or under 30 seconds left to play here in the second period.
And you know, when you go up against a 2-3 zone or any zone, but especially a 2-3, I think, when there's not as many guards on the perimeter, you can hold for the last shot. You can stall if you don't make a mistake like that.
And that kind of a lob pass over to the left wing falls right between Curry and Mitchell, and both of them just looked at each other like, okay, and then the ball goes out of bounds.
Yeah, I don't blame him. I don't know where Jakari Brown was trying to go with that. I don't know who her intended target was. So
10 seconds to play. Crossings with the ball, still in the backcourt. BB loses it, kicks it off her foot, goes out of bounds with 4 seconds, and it is Carl Albert basketball.
Essence Curry, who can be a pest on defense. And that's something that, you know, she's like Ariana Diaz in that regard, a good senior for him. We're going to have a timeout by Carl Albert. We'll keep it here because we're about to go to halftime. It's a 30-second timeout anyway.
So 4 seconds. Interesting that he calls the timeout up by 15 points with 4 seconds left to play. I'm sure he just wants to drop that play that's going to get a score here before you go in at halftime.
It's about reps. It's about finding a play you're good at and you could use it in the future, but you want to execute it here. And, again, credit Essence Curry for forcing that turnover because she has a foul. So she's taking a risk. You don't want to have 2 heading into halftime if you can avoid it. But the thing about Essence Curry is I don't know if she ever even thinks about her fouls. You just got to ride with that for right now, and it worked there. And now we're going to see some of the starters come back, and Asha Moore will come in, as well as Plunkett.
When you think about the quick hands that Curry and Anderson have put on display here in this game tonight, and the fact that between the two of them, there's only one foul, well, they're probably not too worried about the way the game's being called and what they can do with it. And another turnover by Carl Albert right at the buzzer.
See, that's a play they may not try. Now, Carl Albert brought in a freshman and she went baseline when she maybe should have stayed in the corner. Don't know if it mattered, but that's Kinley Sutton, who's Cameron Sutton's younger sister. Cameron Sutton, a great three-point shooter the last 3 years at Carl Albert.
So Kinley must be a pretty good three-point shooter, too, for a coach to put her in and expect the ball to go to her for that last shot.
Yep.
25-10 the score at halftime. The Carl Albert Lady Titans leading the Crossings Christian Lady Knights. Now, we talked about district standings, and we're going to do that a little bit more. But, again, the Carl Albert Lady Titans fighting for a number 2 spot in the district standings right now. Crossing standing down there near the bottom of the district standings at that 6th spot currently, and could fall lower before this district play is over with the season here.
Yeah, and it'll be interesting to see where they finish along with Guthrie, where they could go. They could play, because it's going to be cross matchups with the other district. So we could see Crossings go to Lawton MacArthur, or they may actually go to whoever the 2 seed is here if they finish with the 6 seed, and that could be Carl Albert. And that's kind of the big thing we want to watch right now is Carl Albert girls. They need to win out. They're in good shape for that. I mean, they're going to definitely be if they had favorites, they'd be a heavy favorite tomorrow night when they play Western Heights, and probably Tuesday when they close out against Altus. And they need Shawnee to lose on Tuesday to El Reno. So you have to hope El Reno, who has the 1 seed all locked up, that they will be playing for that undefeated regular season if you're Carl Albert. And if El Reno, who is the best team in that district, does their job and wins, then Carl Albert can get that home court for the regionals. But as of right now, Shawnee would have the tiebreaker.
And it can, in some districts, it can get really confusing. Kind of the way this one's playing out, it's probably going to play out where it's pretty straightforward in the end, but it still comes down to who gets these last few wins, right?
Yep. The biggest question is, we know we're probably going to see. We're definitely going to see El Reno be 1. Elgin will be 4. And they would go to Midwest City if that's more than likely, if that's how it turns out. But 2 and 3, that's what we kind of want to figure out, and see which one gets to host Del City as the next highest seed for a possible regional championship, and which one has to go to Lawton MacArthur, who we'll see, by the way, tomorrow. We'll talk more about that, but that's the game we'll be doing tomorrow.
I was going to say that would have been a tough matchup, but there's some more information coming on that. So. All right, so it is halftime, folks, and we're going to take a break here, Jordan?
Yep.
All right, 25-10 the score. Carl Albert Lady Titans leading the Crossings Christian Lady Knights. And we're going to take a break here on the Oklahoma Sports Network.
Car mechanic shop.
Let's say we go to Scissor Tape.
Ready to go get some coffee?
Yeah, let's go.
You got it.
I think she was from
One,
Rose State.
2, 3.
Woo-hoo!
Congratulations, Rose State college graduates.
Have you ever seen an insurance commercial and ask yourself, are they really telling me the truth? Well, guess what? They're not.
Somebody runs a red light and you think all of a sudden their insurance company's going to be all neighborly about it? Insurance companies aren't in the business of saving you money. They're in the business of keeping your money.
So remember, save our number in your phone so when tragedy strikes,
Call Rob and Will.
Welcome back to the Oklahoma Sports Network. This is Tracy Mussett and Jordan Ray at Carl Albert High School for District 5A1 play. It's the Carl Albert Lady Titans leading the Crossings Christian Lady Knights by a score of 25-10 as we begin the second half of play. This third period brought to you by Rose State College. Parents, want to save money on college? Help your student get ahead by earning college credit in high school. It's called concurrent enrollment, and Rose State College makes it easy and very affordable. Apply today at rose.edu/concurrent. Carl Albert with the ball to begin this third period of play. Looking back at the scoring in the first half, only 3 players scoring for Crossings. It was 4 points for Clara Beebe, 4 points for Allison Hickey, and 2 for Brooklyn Boren. And who hit that bucket?
Skylar Anderson.
Skylar Anderson starts
well
scoring
without the ball
in the second half. Skylar Anderson had 6 points in the first half for Carl Albert, 8 for Essence Curry, 7 for Asha Moore, 4 for Audrey Plunkett. So only 4 players scoring for Carl Albert in the first half. 27-10 now the score here early in the second half of play. Bourne picks up her dribble, finds herself in a little bit of trouble, passes off to Hickey. Plunkett on D, staying with Hickey. Corner shot put up by Bourne. It's short. Rebound by Anderson. She almost runs into Asha Moore there. Manages to stay on her feet and not lose the ball. Curry in the paint, around a couple of defenders, goes up, loses control. Ball goes out of bounds. We'll call it a blocked shot for Crossings.
By the way, we mentioned earlier we're going to have Midwest City versus Lawton MacArthur tomorrow. That is a 1 versus 2 matchup, and Midwest City has won a makeup game tonight. They played the game earlier because it's Guyman, so Guyman has to get on the road earlier. But they did beat Guyman, so they are now 1 full game ahead of Lawton MacArthur. And again, 1 versus 2. Lawton MacArthur would have some trouble catching Midwest City because Midwest City beat them by 13 earlier. So that's one of the interesting things we'll talk more about in the boys' game tonight is tiebreakers in this district matchup.
There's a turnover by Carl Albert here in this second half. They had 5 turnovers in the first half compared to 11 turnovers for Crossings in the first half.
You see there one of the many attributes of Skylar Anderson is she, similar to Plunkett, can be disruptive on defense, and she is really good at going and trapping. And she does it when she knows that the player has her back turned her. That's usually what they look for. They look for the player with the ball, their back being turned to them, and then they'll go blitz them.
So the only player in the game for Carl Albert with 2 fouls is Asha Moore. Crossings has 3 players with 2 fouls. Brooklyn Boren, Allison Hickey, and Hadley Holloman all with 3 fouls. And we've got a full time out on the court. 27-10 the score, 6:13 left to play here in this third period, brought to you by Rose State College. We're going to take a timeout here, Jordan. We'll take a quick timeout as well here on the Oklahoma Sports Network.
Where sports is our middle name. We are the Oklahoma Sports Network.
Red Plains Plumbing has been offering reliable commercial and residential services to the OKC metro area for over a decade. From new construction and remodeling to residential repair, they can handle jobs of all sizes. When you need a trusted name in plumbing, it's Red Plains Plumbing. Family owned and operated. Phone 405-769-1922. That's 405-769-1922.
Welcome back to the Oklahoma Sports Network. This is Tracy Mussett with Jordan Ray. We're in Carl Albert high school gymnasium tonight, and it is the Carl Albert Lady Titans hosting the Crossings Christian Lady Knights in a District 5A1 game. 27-10, the lead here in the third period. Carl Albert on top. 6 minutes left to play in the third. Crossings with the ball coming out of the timeout. Three put up by Hickey. Back iron, no good. Battle for the rebound. Pulled down by BB. She goes back up. Too hard off the glass. Bourne gets the rebound. She puts it in for two.
So Carl Albert went with a 1-3-1 zone where they were trapping at the wings. They kind of had to extend that defense out, and what that ended up meaning is they weren't in good rebounding position, so credit Crossings for taking advantage of that.
Now Crossings has quite a few girls down there under the basket on offense just then.
They got some size to them, this Crossings, for sure.
Essence Curry puts in a floater in the paint for two, extends the lead back to 17, 29-12 now. Curry with 10 points in the ball game, now in double digits. Quick ball movement, swinging the ball from left to right, and now it kind of stalls the ball movement by Crossings. Hickey drives in, shot blocked, comes up with their own rebound, and Crossings resets their offense.
A very impressive block there by Plunkett. I thought she was out of the play.
Moore with the rebound for Carl Albert. She's going to push the ball up the court. Right in the paint, kicks it out. Plunkett swinging it around. Curry skip pass to Moore under the basket, off the glass for 2 and 1. And instant replay brought to you by Super Subs. Super Subs has chicken Phillies. Try the deluxe, buffalo, or barbecue chicken.
Again, one of the ways that Carl Albert's gotten this lead that's getting bigger now, it should be 31 on the scoreboard, we have it on our graphic, is that they find that soft spot of the zone, and one of them is the backside block.
That free throw put up by Asha Moore is no good. The free throw is brought to you by Toonie Buys Houses. 4:45 on the clock, third period. They still haven't updated the scoreboard with that make on that bucket.
I'm surprised.
Moore takes the pass, kicks it out. Plunkett for three, in and out. And our three-point sponsor for the game is Bobby Lewis Insurance, folks. They have surprisingly great rates with 2 locations to serve you. One in Choctaw. Phone number is 405-281-6700. His other location is in Del City at 405-670-3665. He is our three-point sponsor. We've had a lot of attempts tonight. We still have not seen the first 3 points splash in during this ball game by either team. BB from the free throw line puts up the floater, no good. And rebound by Little. Foul's going to be called. Looks like on Audrey Plunkett.
See Abby Mitchell coming for Skylar Anderson. You know, Crossings has done a better job handling the Carl Albert pressure on the perimeter. And again, they do have a lot of players under the basket, like you said, so the guards are starting to find him here, or they're getting it on offensive rebounds.
And another foul on Plunkett as she takes a swipe at a block. And yes, she got her hand on the ball, but I think she had her arm all entwined with Bourne's arm.
And the refs look to call that when you swing your arm like that.
That's her third personal foul,
Yep.
second team foul here in the third period. And Bourne's Toonie Buys Houses free throw is way wide left.
I mean, Plunkett much taller than Boren, and Boren was driving to her left, shooting with her right. That's usually not going to work. You're often going to have that shot blocked. But there was enough contact, like you said, for Plunkett to get the foul.
Bourne hits the second of the Toonie Buys Houses free throws after missing the first. It's an 18-point game. Carl Albert on top. Curry in the corner. Back out top. Asha Moore for three. Boom! We finally got a Bobby Lewis Insurance three as Asha Moore drains one from the left wing.
And we will see it again on the Super Subs instant replay. But as I was telling you, I think they like that other goal better. Asha Moore definitely does.
Travel by Crossings Christian.
We got a three-way battle for player of the game right now between Essence Curry, Skylar Anderson, and Asha Moore.
Yeah, you know, Skylar Anderson's contributions have been pretty significant under the basket and on defense. Curry's had some good defense, and, of course, she's the leading scorer in the ball game, although she may not be after that three by Asha Moore.
No, Asha Moore, I think, has 12. By the way, Jakari Brown, not good to see her on the scoring
Yeah,
end.
12 by Asha Moore at this point, and that's Jakari Brown's first points of the ball game.
About a 10 count.
Wow, good defense by the Carl Albert Lady Titans as they get another turnover in their favor.
Jakari Brown is the more reluctant of the two guards for Carl Albert, her and Essence Curry. But again, it would help Carl Albert a lot if she can find her offensive voice from time to time. We'll see if she can do that here in the second half.
She doesn't make mistakes. No, she is just a really consistent player. Nice mid-range shot put up by Lainey Moore as she drains that one for 2. And now she's on the scoreboard as well, and it's a 25-point lead for Carl Albert. There's another turnover as Carl Albert comes up with the ball off the full court press. Asha Moore going up for the shot. The foul's called, and we heard some Crossings fans complaining. It looked like a clean block, but Asha Moore's going to the line for Toonie Buys Houses free throws.
Well, Allison Hickey, who the foul's called on, wasn't completely vertical. I can see why that was called, and kind of consistent with how the game's been called, I think. But a good pass from Essence Curry. Won't get an assist for it, but basically she made the pass that led to these free throws.
Yeah, and that was the third personal foul against Allison Hickey. Only the second team foul here in the third period. Asha Moore hits both of the Toonie Buys Houses free throws, extending that lead now. 13 points by 15 points by Carl Albert here in the third period. So they have a really good third period scoring going on. 40-13 the score in this Rose State College third period. 2 minutes and 13 seconds left to play. Full timeout. We'll take a timeout as well here on the Oklahoma Sports Network.
Where sports is our middle name. We are the Oklahoma Sports Network.
Experience the best wash in town at Tommy's Express. You'll love our open and bright tunnels, easy loading flat belt conveyor, unlimited membership, and free vacuums and mat washers. Experience the difference and visit Tommy's Express today.
Oklahoma Sports Network, Tracy Mussett, Jordan Ray back at Carl Albert High School. Asha Moore puts one in right over the front of the rim for Carl Albert, extending the lead now to 29. And full court pressure by Carl Albert. A lot of contact, slap from behind, and foul called.
Yeah, Carl Albert's starting to force some turnovers again, and that led to the Asha Moore basket. And she finds their spots really well, and she's having a great third quarter.
1:50 to play in the third. That is the third team foul on Carl Albert. First personal foul on Shelby Roche. Asha Moore with the steal. It's a 2-on-2. She pulls up for the mid-range shot, and she drains it. Asha Moore's been big here in the last few minutes.
As we'll see on the Super Subs replay. And she's scoring in so many different spots, too. Another steal.
Passes it off to Curry. Curry puts it off the glass for 2.
And Asha Moore's fired up. She still has 2 more home games before senior night, but she is the woman of the hour right now.
Lainey Moore just reaches in and locks up the arms of Carly Little. That'll be the first personal foul on Lainey Moore, fourth team foul on Carl Albert.
So we're going to see Jakari Brown's older sister, Jacqueline Brown, or Jackie as I think they call her, check in. And we're going to see we're now in position probably to see some freshmen come in for Carl Albert here in the next few minutes.
I do find it interesting that they called that a shooting foul. And she had gathered the ball, but she was a long way out from actually going up for the shot.
She had the ball low, but I could see why she like you said, she was gathering up for a shot.
And Little misses the first, hits the second of the Toonie Buys Houses free throws. 4 points in the second period for Crossings, only 4 points so far here in the third period for Crossings. And there is another three put up. That one by Rouche, no good. Rebound by Crossings. Bodies hitting the floor. I believe we're going to have a foul on Carl Albert.
Yep, on Jackie Brown. But I think they're seeing now that they're kind of wearing down Crossings. Crossings is getting a little flustered with the ball right now.
And that is the fifth team foul on Carl Albert here in the third period. So that's going to put Crossings at the free throw line, shooting 2 free throws. And if you are just starting to follow high school basketball here late in the season this year, change to the rules. The foul count resets every period, and on the fifth foul in each period, the fouled team gets 2 free throws. There is no longer a 1-and-1 in Oklahoma high school, actually in United States high school basketball. Brankel, we found out who number 1 is. Brankel, and hopefully I'm pronouncing the name correctly, at the line. She hits the first of the Toonie Buys Houses free throws.
Yeah, her name's not on the roster at all. So
I got it off the official scorebook down at the table. She hits both free throws. It's a 30-point game, 46-16, with under a minute to play in the third period now. Evie Mitchell with the ball out top, looking down low. Jackie Brown, 3 from the corner, long. Scramble for the loose ball, out of bounds, and is going to Crossings.
By the way, Malia Hatchett in the game, and of course we like to mention, I don't know if she'll ever get sick of it, that her dad is the head coach at Dell City High School. But the first freshman to come in, they had a really good 8th grade year last year. And see Lainey Moore wants to travel, but her arm was kind of locked in with the Crossings player. I believe that was Hickey.
So that's going to put Carly Little back at the free throw line again, shooting 2 more free throws. Toonie Buys Houses, our sponsor for free throws, and Little hits the front end. Only 1 field goal in this period by Crossings. Little misses the second free throw. That is their 8th free throw attempt of the period on only 1 made field goal. Jackie Brown passes the ball off. Evie Mitchell has to chase it down. She's in danger of getting trapped. Passes the ball now down low. Going to the hole with its hatchet. She can't get it. Shot blocked. Rebound. Crossings. Jump ball. Possession arrow in favor of Carl Albert.
So we're finally seeing Crossings start to trap and apply some pressure. And, of course, Carl Albert has gone to their bench. They don't have a single starter in, so they have some rotation players, and then some players are coming in for the first time this game.
Inbound pass, skip pass now. Jackie Brown for 3. Boom! There's another Bobby Lewis Insurance 3-pointer courtesy of Jackie Brown.
That's a 24-point quarter for Carl Albert.
That's impressive play by Carl Albert in that quarter. As I'm looking at my score sheet over here, there's just points all the way down. 7 players score in that period. 6 players score in that period, including 11 points by Asha Moore in the third period to go along with several steals by her.
Yep, absolutely. We're going to take a quick break. You're watching Middale Basketball on the Oklahoma Sports Network.
College is more than just going to class. College is a journey. It's meeting new people and making new friendships that will last a lifetime. It's learning from professors who care about you and your success. And finding out it can be really fun and rewarding. It's discovering that thing you want to do for the rest of your life. Cameron University is all about helping you grow and succeed. Because your success is our success.
Oklahoma Sports Network, Tracy Mussett, Jordan Ray. We're at Carl Albert High School for District 5A1. District play is the Carl Albert Lady Titans leading the Crossings Christian Lady Knights 49-17 as we begin the fourth period of play. Fourth period brought to you by Dynamic Health. where Dr. Kaufman specializes in athletic injuries and is able to get athletes back in action very quickly using a system called Advanced Muscle Integration. Play better and recover faster at Dynamic Health Clinic. A couple of turnovers, and Crossings has the ball back early here in the fourth period.
But it's really good for Carl Albert that they got this 32-point lead because they're playing tomorrow. They play Tuesday, so they can rest their starters probably for the whole quarter unless something goes really bad.
Little fires the three from the left wing, shot no good. Rebound, Laney Moore. Rouche on the right wing kicks the ball back out, and it's Hayden Harrell running point.
Another legacy name because Mason Harrell was a star here at Carl Albert a few years ago, and Jaden Harrell was a really good player on the 2021 team that won state.
Shot from the left elbow by Beebe. She gets that one to go. 49-19 the score now, 30 points, 7 minutes left to play. Jackie Brown, left wing, pulls up at the elbow, puts shot up. She's got a sweet little shot.
She does. They could have used her in the first half, but they got her now, and she's hit a couple of outside shots.
51-19 with 6:40 to play in the ball game. BB all the way across the baseline to Little. Little pulls up at the left elbow, kicks it back to Hickey. Hickey's in the paint, goes to the hole, off the glass, good for two.
And you're going to see Crossings continue to go with a lot of their starters right now. They only have 9 players. They didn't have a girls' JV game earlier. They had a boys' JV game, but not girls, so they probably don't have the players to go deep to the bench. And you see a three there.
Boom, another Bobby Lewis Insurance three. This one courtesy of Shelby Rouche.
You know what? She told me yesterday she did not have confidence in that shot, that three-point shot.
Well, that one was sweet.
Yeah, maybe she should change her mind.
There's a shot put up by Crossings, longer rebound out of bounds, and it looks like it's going to be Crossings basketball on the baseline.
Crowder will go deeper to their bench.
Kinley Sutton checking back into the game along with Piper Mitchell. BB inbounds the ball for Crossings. Down low to Holloman. Holloman kicks it right back out to Little. Little thinking about the shot. Driving against Sutton. A lot of contact is there, bodying each other up in there, and the foul's going on Sutton.
Kinley Sutton, she's definitely, she's the younger sister of Cameron, but she's taller. You could tell she's got the bigger frame. So she could be one of those post players who can also shoot threes for him.
BB took a long time getting that ball in and then ends up throwing it away as Hatchett comes up with it. She's on the left wing. Jackie Brown driving against BB right to the hole, put up the floater. Shot no good. Little comes up with the ball. 5.5 minutes to play. BB pulls up for the three. Back iron, no good. And foul's going to be called on Holloman as she goes over the back of Jackie Brown.
No doubt Malia Hatchett's dad's here because Del City boys don't have a game today.
Holloman's third personal foul. Little takes a seat, and checking into the game for Crossings is number 22, Olivia Downing. Let's see. Also checking in is Ava Krotz. Hatchett drives the baseline, switches hands with the ball, goes up high off the glass. Shot's no good. She's going to the line to shoot two.
It's going to be a really good experience for these freshmen. We'll see if, one of them, or maybe it's Jackie Brown, who also did not make her first appearance until this half, could potentially become a rotation player in the playoffs if they keep playing well. And they probably will have a chance to play tomorrow, too, because Western Heights, coming up from 4A, also is a little outmanned on the girls' side.
So Robertson picks up her third personal foul. Hatchett misses the front end of the free throw, misses both of the Toonie Vice Houses free throws. Ball's battled around on the rebound, goes out of bounds, and it is Crossings basketball. 5 minutes and 12 seconds to play in the ball game. 54-21 the score. Carl Albert leading Crossings in this girls District 5A1 game. Every win critical for the Carl Albert Lady Titans right now as they are working hard trying to secure second place standing in the district and get that home playoff game.
And if they win tonight, they will be in a tie with Shawnee. But because Shawnee beat Carl Albert by 8 points in January, Carl Albert beat only Shawnee by 5 points Tuesday night. Shawnee gets the tiebreaker. Carl Albert will need some help. They're hoping to get that help. If not Friday for Altus playing Shawnee, then maybe El Reno playing Shawnee on Tuesday.
Ball bounced around like a pinball off of several players, and Sutton pulls the trigger on the three. Shot no good. Long rebound, battled for it, picked up by Crossings Christian. That is Brankel that comes up with it, and now tipped away and stolen by Piper Mitchell. She had a fast break. Can't pull the dribble in. Kicks the ball over off the glass to Harrell, and it's in for two.
That's the loudest we've heard the crowd. We're going to have that in our Super Subs instant replay. And Carl Albert, their bench players are playing well against some starters and rotation players for Crossings, as you see the turnover there. And I think that's largely because they're fresh. These players for Carl Albert are very fresh right now, and Crossings players, again, they've played much of this game, so they're a little bit more tired.
Harrell bringing the ball up the court. Hatchett back there with her. Down low in the game now, Katie Norton.
By the way, Kinley Sutton, she is going to be called for out of bounds, I guess. But she missed that three the previous possession, but you can tell she's got a good stroke.
Yeah.
Very good backspin on the shot, so I think she'll be making her share of threes before her career is over here on this floor.
She looked, not only did just the form look good, she looked confident taking the shot.
Oh, yeah, she it's a Sutton thing. Her sister had no problem shooting those.
So Harrell gets a steal, and it is number 10, Sophie Stark of Crossings Christian. I don't know if she's reaching for the ball or just decided to grab a hold of Harrell, but she grabs a hold of Harrell's legs and just holds on and pulls her down.
Well,
foul called on Stark.
She wanted to rest. She doesn't want another transition play for Carl Albert. And again, the crossing players have to be a little tired here.
Piper Mitchell running point, throws the ball a little too high for Harrell. It's a turnover for Carl Albert.
You got to be careful putting Harrell in the corner. She looks like she's about 4'10". Do you say? We don't have an official height listed for her, but you got to be also careful if she's in the corner to throw a high pass like that.
So Crossings with the ball, hand on it by the Carl Albert defender. Stark drives in, finds Holloman under the basket, good for two. Excuse me, that was Robertson.
Of course, we can't mention this enough, but we're looking forward to the boys' game. That's going to be a little different.
Sutton three.
Oh,
Shooter's roll or bounce off the glass in the hole. Bobby Lewis Insurance brings another three. That one courtesy of Kinley Sutton.
You know, when you can get that type of touch from a corner three, that's pretty good.
Piper Mitchell with the steal. Left-handed layup. It's good for two.
Oh, Asha Moore could be more proud of Piper Mitchell.
12-point quarter coming for the reserves of Carl Albert here in the fourth period. It's a 38-point lead.
Oh, yeah, 30-second timeout. And Coach Ritchie was trying to make it just a substitution timeout. He didn't want to actually stop play. But the refs decided to go and make it a 30-second timeout. So they're going to bring a sub in as Carl Albert, and we haven't called yet.
I'm not sure. There's, let's see, coming in the game for Carl Albert is Aaliyah Hernandez. I think that's the only new player on the court.
Yes. So a lot of freshmen in right now. Katie Norton being one of those freshmen.
2:40 to play here in the fourth period. Fourth period again brought to you by Dynamic Health. Crossings with the ball. Skip pass over to the right wing. A little long, out of bounds. Turnover by Crossings. Carl Albert basketball.
And, you know, obviously Carl Albert's going to have to beat teams, you know, more experienced and with more talent than Crossings. But this is the type of way that they can win. They just, with their endless energy, they'll wear teams out. They may not show it right away, but eventually they wear teams out.
So Sutton made a nice move getting around a couple of defenders, but then she tried to do a no-look pass and put it right into the hands of the defender that was on her left. Turnover for Carl Albert. Crossings moving the ball, swinging it around the perimeter. Sutton gets a hand on it, tips the ball away, goes out of bounds. Crossings ball side out in front of the Crossings bench.
Yeah, you can also see Kinley Sutton moves very well for her size.
Well, I thought that when she made that little move,
Yeah.
split defenders earlier in the corner. She has good foot movement trying to slide as a defender. Loose ball, scramble at midcourt. Whistles blow. I believe we're going to have a jump ball.
Something had Asha Moore and Essence Curry upset, and one of the coaches had to pull him back. Not like they were going to do anything, but they just wanted to take a closer look at what was going on.
Being protective of those younger players.
Yes.
Sutton, 3 from the corner. That one's short. Rebound by Mitchell. That's Piper Mitchell. Now Harrell down low. Inside to Norton off the glass for 2.
Now that's one advantage you have of being a shorter player, actually. You get in the paint, and you can see those openings lower around the player's legs and make that type of bounce pass. Good vision there from Harrell.
Cameron Graham passes the ball off. It's a little bit of a scramble taking place. 3 from the left wing is short. That shot by Olivia Downing. It goes out of bounds off the hands of Crossings. Carl Albert ball with 1:09 left to play. It's a 40-point lead for Carl Albert.
So I'm making my way down there to interview Coach Ritchie and a player of the game. I think probably should go to Asha Moore.
I agree with you wholeheartedly. She took control of the game in the third period. Long 3, in and out. Harrell with the rebound. She's in among the trees, dribbles out of all of that traffic, passes the ball off. Shot put up by Piper Mitchell. Rebound by Crossings Christian. 45 seconds left to play in the ball game. Crossings pushing the ball back up the court. Brackle puts it up. Floater's no good. 38 seconds on the clock, and she's going to the line to shoot 2 free throws. That foul is on Katie Norton.
Again, we're getting closer and closer to the boys' game, and that is not technically 1 versus 2, but if you know about the tiebreakers, Carl Albert's really in the 2 position in that district because they have a tiebreaker over Guthrie. They have the same amount of losses.
So Brackle misses both of the Toonie Buys Houses free throws. Rebound goes to Carl Albert. Harrell driving against the defense of Brackle. 3 by Hatchet. Boom, another Bobby Lewis Insurance 3 by Carl Albert.
What I say, though, before I go down there, they shoot better at that goal. Although some of those players weren't playing when they were in the first half when they're going towards this goal.
You know, and is it the goal? Is it the fact that they're warmed up by the time they get down on that end in the second half? Whatever, they're making more buckets down there. Harrell gets a steal, 3 seconds on the clock. She's got the fast break going up. Bucket is good at the buzzer. The final score, 70-23, as Hayden Harrell caps this one off. And the Carl Albert Lady Titans get the victory over Crossings Christian here, 70-23, the final score. What a finish by Hayden Harrell. Jordan Ray is going down to talk to Coach Ritchie about this game. That is Kyle Ritchie, and we'll talk about the player of the game in just a moment as well. That player of the game brought to you by the Eastside Church of Christ. The Eastside Church of Christ in Midwest City believes in loving Jesus by loving our neighbors. And I say our, folks, because I am one of the ministers at the Eastside Church of Christ. And we invite you to join us Sunday mornings at 9 a.m. for Bible class. Our song and praise service begins at 10 a.m. If you can't make it Sunday morning, you come study with us at 7 p.m. on Wednesdays. We have live and recorded streams on YouTube. You find out more information on our website, eastsidechurchofchrist.org, the Eastside Church of Christ, 916 South Douglas Boulevard in Midwest City. And now we are going to hand things over to Jordan Ray and Coach Kyle Ritchie and our player of the game, Asha Moore.
All right, Coach, let's talk to you first. What can you say about your scoring explosion in the second half, especially in that third quarter?
Defense leads into offense. And when we turned it up on this end, turned it up on that end. And just the emotions of down here, Essence got one. Then Evie got one. Then Asha got one. And one just leads into another. And we fed off that. And the emotion of our bench, I mean, it was fun to watch.
Okay, it's Skylar's first start in several weeks. How'd she look?
She's still getting back. I mean, it's going to take a little bit of time, Rusty, but still, I thought she played pretty well.
How'd you feel about your team's execution against the zone, 2-3 zone? You might see that in the first round of playoffs and other times in the playoffs. How do you feel about their execution there?
We talked about it at half. We didn't shoot it very well in the first half. I don't know. I think 0 of 16 from 3 or something like that. But they weren't horrible looks. We just got, and as you saw in the second half, when you make one and then we can get into our defense. So obviously we'll still work against the zone more because you're right. I think a lot of teams might do that to us.
Last question. What do you think about your freshmen? They got a lot of playing time in that fourth quarter.
It was fun. And I told these ones that play a lot, you do your job, I get to put them in. And did you see the reaction when they all got to play? So they did their job. And that's what I love. It's we over me. They did their job, and then they were off the bench more in the fourth quarter celebrating what the freshmen did.
They definitely got the crowd into it. All right,
There's
Coach.
no doubt.
Good luck tomorrow against Western Heights.
Thank you.
Okay, this is our Eastside Church of Christ player of the game, Asha Moore. I get to talk to Asha in back-to-back nights here. Asha, looked like you're having a lot of fun out there. What can you say about that?
I mean, it's my last go-around, and I don't want to leave anything on the floor. I don't want to take anything for granted. You never know when your time might be to step on this court, and this is just such an amazing place to play, such an amazing team and staff to play with and play for, so that's why I try to have fun every time.
Okay, leading scorer in this game, and it looks like you were scoring, for sure, all over the court. I mean, you just did in so many different ways. So what can you say about that, the fact that, you're not a one-trick pony on either side of the ball?
I mean, I think it's definitely the work we put into practice. We practice different reads, different moves all the time, and just taking what's a good shot and what's a better shot is what Coach Ritchie says. And, I got the steal right here. I could have won and scored it if I wanted to, but I gave it to Essence. So we play that unselfish kind of ball, and that's why I love this team so much.
Okay, how fun was it for you? I saw you almost left the floor a little too early during a not really a scrum, but something that there was a bit of a pile up there. But how fun was it to watch your freshmen play?
It was so much fun. They worked so hard in practice, and it's just kind of rewarding to see them come out here and do what they do and just have a great time on the bench.
Okay, you ready to play your third game in 4 nights tomorrow?
Yeah, I am.
All right, congratulations, Asha.
I tried not to yell as much after watching the interview.
No, Coach, I said you're good at it, remember?
I know, I'm just laughing.
All right, Tracy.
All right, folks, there's Coach Kyle Ritchie and your player of the game, senior Asha Moore, who knocked down 18 points tonight. She turned it up on defense, just took over the third period of that ball game. It was already a good lead by Carl Albert over Crossings Christian, but Asha Moore just took control and put Carl Albert way out on top in that third period, scoring 11 of her 18 in the third period. Going to go ahead and round out the scoring from the rest of the players in the game. For your visiting Crossings Christian Knights, it was Clara Beebe with 6, Brooklyn Boren with 5, Allison Hickey with 6, 2 points for Holland Robertson, 2 points for Brankel, and 1 point for Carly Little. Heck, 1 point for her came on a 1 for 4 shooting percentage at the free throw line. For your Carl Albert Lady Titans, we're going to look at the scoring from top to bottom. 18 points again for your player of the game, Asha Moore. 12 points for Essence Curry. It was 8 points for Skylar Anderson. Good to see Skylar back in the lineup after she had twisted that ankle and injured it pretty badly 3 weeks ago. 5 points for Jackie Brown. 4 points each for Hayden Harrell and Audrey Plunkett, including that buzzer beater at the end of the game by Hayden Harrell. 3 points for Malia Hatchett, 3 points for Kenley Sutton, 3 points for Shelby Rouche, and 2 points for Lainey Moore, 2 points for Katie Norton, 2 points for Jakari Brown, and 2 points for Piper Mitchell. 68 points scored by Carl Albert tonight. Dominant game, and then we're getting ready for the boys' game coming up, and this is a big one.
Yep. All right. Well, we're going to have an interview. Part of my interview I had yesterday with Coach Price, so that'll be coming up right here on the Oklahoma Sports Network.
a car mechanic shop?
Let's say we go to Scissor Tape.
Ready to go get some coffee?
Yeah, let's go.
You got it.
I think she was from
1,
Rose State.
2, 3.
Woo-hoo!
Congratulations, Rose State college graduates.
And right now we get to talk to Coach Price. Okay, so let's talk about crossings now. I mean, you just need a win in this game to stay in position to get a 2 seed.
Right.
Well, first off, there's a lot of questions to ask about this. This game, if I'm not mistaken, was originally scheduled for Friday, January 26th.
Yes.
And it got moved to Thursday. So
Yes.
puts you in a situation where you got 3 games in 4 days, but at least they're all at home.
Yes.
So how did that come about? Because this has been on the schedule for a while. It's not a makeup game.
No, and so when we first set up the district schedule, we talked. Crossings called and said, "Hey, we've got a rivalry game that night that we already had scheduled before the districts even got set up with Oklahoma Christian, and that's one of their big rivals, big game, big gate game, big fans, all that kind of stuff." And so we talked it over, and he says, "Man, we have nowhere else to put it. Can we reschedule our game?" And so we started looking for dates, and at first I didn't like it because of how our schedule has been lopsided with on the road. We had 12 games in a row, came back and played 1 game at home, I think, and then played 2 more games on the road, and then now we're back at home for 4 in a row. So it's kind of odd and a little awkward, but honestly it works out okay because we do have 3 games in 4 days, but it's one of those things where if you're going to play in the playoffs, you're going to play several games back to back, and so the timing of it isn't bad. It's okay, and that's how it got worked out that way. So we plugged it into this Thursday, knowing that we had a game Friday, but we felt like that might work best for us instead of moving it to the Saturday after playing a game and having to turn around and play them the next day.
Yeah.
So that's how it worked out that way. But
yeah.
Golly, they're well coached. They're very talented. They have a piece that every coach would want. Most successful playoff teams have a really, really good point guard, and they do. They've got one of the better kids around. Furnish kid, yeah, he's just very heady, very smart, very talented. Scores it well, passes it maybe better than he scores it. I mean, he's really good, and that's something that you, as a coach, that you want, and that makes them really tough. And Coach Shank really knows what he's doing and does a great job of getting his kids prepared. So it's going to be a big one, yeah.
And I believe they beat you by 14.
Yeah.
So to have a tiebreaker against them, you have to win by 15.
Yeah.
Now you'd be elated if you're close to that.
Yeah.
But I don't know if that's even something you can think about against a team of that caliber, since you saw how good they were.
Yeah. Well,
back in December.
It's definitely on our minds. I mean, I've told everybody, I said, we just want to figure out a way to win. I mean, if we can win, that'd be great. If we lose, we lose, but we want to try to figure out a way to win. If it gets to that point where we have a chance, then we may try. We may try to do that if we can, but it's going to be really tough. They're so good, and I don't know that they'll allow that from their side of things. But we want to go play to win, and here's what we know: if we win the game, we're guaranteed a home regional. If we win by 1, if we win by a half, if we win by 100, it doesn't matter. We're guaranteed a home regional, and to get that is big, and that's the motivation. If it were to work out where we're fortunate enough to beat them by 15 or more, then we get the number 1 spot, and that would be great too. But that's probably that's a long shot, but definitely to beat them is our goal, and we just want to play a better game, and we feel like we're in a position to be able to do that.
Yeah, and the other thing is if you win, and then not by 15, but like you said, you'll take the win. You walk by them in the handshake line, you'll be like, hey, or when you won't say anything to them in the handshake line, but you'll be thinking, hey, I hope you lose to Guthrie. If you lose to them, you'll be saying, hey, go please be Guthrie that Tuesday.
That's right. That's right.
So, but you know what Coach Hatchett said, similar thing. He mainly wants the home game. He's not much worried about 1 or 2. He mainly wants the home games.
Yeah,
for district.
And I think that's really important to look at. And again, the 1 seed is great. We've been fortunate enough to be that in the past with the rankings, the way the ranking system was. We've been a 3, 2, 3, and a 4 seed before that's been able to host. But it really does make a difference. It gives your kids some motivation. It makes it comfortable for you to be at home. And you have to feel like you have a leg up if you're playing at home. So that's our motivation to try to figure that out. We felt like we put ourselves in a good position with our win at Guthrie on the road to have at least we have some control over our destiny at this point.
Yeah.
And we're appreciative of that, and hopefully we can take advantage of it.
Do you want to start?
I want to start a car mechanic shop.
Let's say we go to Scissor Tape.
Ready to go get some coffee?
Yeah, let's go.
You got it.
I think she was from
1,
Rose State.
2, 3.
Woo!
Congratulations, Rose State college graduates.
Oklahoma Sports Network, this is Tracy Mussett and Jordan Ray, Carl Albert High School, where the Carl Albert Titans are hosting the Crossings Christian Knights in a District 5A1 game tonight. It was the Lady Titans coming out on top in the girls' game, 68-22, and it is the boys' game getting ready to tip off, and this is a matchup that has very important significance to district standings.
That's right. At some point, we'll show those standings, but we're getting ready for the Dynamic Health Clinic starting lineups here in a moment. But we'll say, though, again, this is a revenge game opportunity for Carl Albert. They need to show that they're a better team than what they were in early December when they lost by 14 points at Crossings. Crossings brand new to 5A, and they haven't had much problems in 5A yet.
Yeah, and it looks, as you look at how these teams have performed over the way the season's played out, that Carl Albert has improved significantly. So, and now a home game really improved. Looking forward to what happens.
Yeah, as we see the starters, Cal Furnish, Furnish, the first name mentioned, he's the guy for Crossings. They got a lot of guys, but he's the guy that's going to make this team go, a very dynamic point guard. And you also end with Phoenix Woodson for Crossings on the starting lineups, a 6'8" shooter. So they got a lot of good players there. Now we're going to see Carl Albert starters.
So your starters for your Carl Albert Titans: number 1, Jaden Hopkins. Number 12, Hutch Russell. Number 21, Ryan Reynolds. Not the actor.
Nope. I've asked him that very question, though.
Number 22, Quincy Hopkins. And number 23, Marcus James.
All right, I want to talk about the starters real quick, so let's show the starters one more time. On the Carl Albert side, last time we called the game, Trace, last time I called one of their games, because they've been on the Oklahoma Sports Network a couple times, but that's been other crews when they've gone to Elgin and Altus. Oh, you can hear the student section, by the way. They're ready for this one. But last time we had called their game, they had Jaden Mott at center. Well, he moved in January to Edmond Santa Fe, but Carl Albert did get Marcus James in, so they still are really good at that center position. They don't have a ton of depth there, and that could be an issue. But Marcus James has been a huge addition for this team, and they need him to have a huge night against the size and the depth of the Knights of Crossings Christian.
So the starting lineup for Crossings is number 1, Cal Furnish, number 14, Cam Parker, number 23, Matt Goodell, number 24, Evan Krotz, and number 30, Phoenix Woodson. Long tip, chased down by Furnish. Crossings has the ball to open the game.
It's a one-on-one matchup, and I mean the number ones. Hopkins guarding Furnish. Hopkins only a sophomore.
Evan Krotz out on the right wing, dribbles all the way around, in the paint, down low, through the legs of Quincy Hopkins, down low to number 14, Cam Parker.
That's an impressive pass, but Hopkins prevented a layup by just having his hands swiping at the right place at the right time. He's the one guarding the much bigger Phoenix Woodson.
We had a bench warning, it looks like, on Crossings Christian there early in the ball game. Nice little jumper from about 10 feet away. No good by number 23, Matt Goodell. Carl Albert now sets up their offense. James in the corner, passes the ball out to Russell. Russell can't handle the pass, and it's a turnover for Carl Albert. Long three, top of the key by Furnish. Rebound, James.
In the earlier game, and I watched some of that, Carl Albert just couldn't have anywhere to go on offense, and that's kind of why. They lost control of the paint early on.
Good offensive rebounding going on by Carl Albert there.
Yeah, initially Hopkins took a wild shot. They need to find a way to move the ball around and get better looks than that.
Russell pulls the trigger on a long two. James gets a rebound, has his shot blocked. Russell comes up with it. Quincy Hopkins in the paint. We're going to have a foul on the floor. That'll be the first foul of the ball game, going against Crossings, number 23, Matt Goodell.
Both teams being very stingy on defense. You see Quincy Hopkins drawing a foul. He scored his 1,000th point in his career a couple games ago. He needs to have a big night scoring the ball. He's the best guy they have to take his man off the dribble and make something happen. We see Crossings go zone.
Quincy Hopkins tried to pass it down low to James. The ball goes out of bounds off of Crossings Christian.
Furnish could have picked it up, but he thought it was going to be off Carl Albert. I think that's the right call, though.
I agree. Jaden Hopkins inbounds the ball, gets it to Quincy. Quincy sets up the offense. Furnish on D. Quincy looking to drive, pulls up the free throw line. Calling for help. Has Ryan Reynolds under the basket. He turns around and shoots a 15-foot jumper. No good. Rebound Crossings.
Very uncharacteristic, to see Reynolds airball a shot like that. I think there's some jitters right now for Carl Albert, and maybe for Crossings too.
And Furnish that's not Furnish. That was Evan Krotz puts the first points on the board. 2-0 the score.
He finished that like he thought it was Furnish, and that was a very good finish.
Quincy Hopkins pulls up, right elbow, Russell for three, boom! A Bobby Lewis insurance three. Hutch Russell puts the Carl Albert Titans on top by one.
Well, I can't begin to tell you how important that is. That Hutch Russell and Ryan Reynolds efficiently make threes here.
3-2 the score here in this Buffalo Wild Wings first period with 5.5 minutes to play.
Ooh, Hutch got a little antsy.
Hutch gets called.
First foul on Carl Albert, not a bad gamble. Just needs to know his call. We're here in a faint student section for Crossings, saying you can't do that. Carl Albert student section. This is probably the first time they've been out in full force, but they know what a good game, what a big game this is.
Furnish in the paint. Stops, dips, and Hopkins gets up in the air and comes down on top of him. That's Jaden Hopkins. Two fouls now on Carl Albert.
Jaden Hopkins has to realize that he got beat, but he had help. He didn't need to jump early like that.
I disagree with this being a shooting foul because he stopped, dipped down, and just waited for Hopkins to jump on top of him. Yeah. I don't think there was actually any shot motion going on in this place.
Yeah, that gets ruled a shooting foul just about every time. It's like the refs are just trained to do that. But I get what you're saying.
4-3 the score. We've had two lead changes here early on. 5 minutes and 2 seconds left to play in the first period. Jaden Hopkins sets up the offense for Carl Albert. Ryan Reynolds pulls the trigger on a three, in and out. Long rebound, chased down by Furnish. Long pass down the court. It's Woodson with the ball, kicks it back out. Skip pass into the corner. Three is too long. Ball is going out of bounds. It'll be Carl Albert basketball. It's an air ball shot by Evan Krotz.
Very low-scoring game.
I don't expect it to stay that way.
Well, I'm not surprised it's low-scoring. You can see Crossings very fundamentally sound on defense. They pack the paint real well, like you're going to see right here. That's just a tough shot, and they drew a foul, so that's a good attack by Jaden Hopkins. But Crossings will close the paint real well. And Carl Albert traditionally, as their coach told me, that being Coach Schink, that Coach Price, who's good friends with, great defensive coach for years. I think the defenses will be ahead on the offenses for much of this game, unless they can draw fouls like that.
So Jaden Hopkins hits the front end of the Toonie Buys Houses free throws. Hits, in and out on the second one. Toonie Buys Houses in any condition. If you know someone who needs to sell a home for any reason, call them today at 405-931-3046. Furnish with the ball for Crossings. It's a 4-4 game now. Inside to Cam Parker, posting up off the glass. Shot no good. Marcus James was in position for a rebound. Can't get it, and we're going to have an and one for Cam Parker. That's James, a big, strong kid.
James has to get that, or you can't give him second chances like that. Parker is a big guy. You probably would rather James guard him than Quincy Hopkins, and that was the initial matchup.
And Hutch Russell just picked up his second personal foul. Cam Parker gets the Toonie Buys Houses free throw. It's up and it's good. Seven to 4. The lead now.
Seeing a bit of extended 1-3-1 defense by the Knights.
Quincy Hopkins, right wing, looking inside. 3 defenders right there close to him. Somebody's got to be open somewhere. Marcus James in the paint.
That's a great decision by Hopkins and James, because it's, well, like I said, an extended defense, so we have a guard at the bottom of a 1-3-1 defense, which you normally see, but he had to defend the bigger Marcus James in the post, and James took advantage. That's a second foul on Krotz.
Well, and I thought Cam Parker was the offender in that one. I thought that was pretty much James and Parker one-on-one, but I wonder if maybe the number getting signaled into the score table didn't get wrong, 24 versus 14.
I thought initially James had a smaller guy on him.
Oh, maybe he did. Maybe he did.
So that's what made it a good play by Hopkins to find him.
3 fouls on each team.
And Carl Albert has to find a way to get points in the paint, and that's going to be a tough task. They have to make free throws when they have them. They missed a couple.
And James hits the front end of the Toonie Buys Houses free throws, but misses the second one. 5-7 is the score now. Furnish dishes it to Parker. Parker off the glass, good for 2.
I mean, Hopkins read that play well. Quincy Hopkins did. Furnish just made a great pass, great finish.
Quincy Hopkins misses the dunk/layup attempt. Reynolds misses the putback. James can't pull down the rebound. Furnish has it now. It's Crossings ball in the front court. In the corner, number 12, Braden Buckingham is in the game. And Parker drives in and lays that one over the front edge of the rim.
Yeah, because not to catch who it was, but just a very bad contest there. You don't have to bite on his shooting. I know he can shoot the 3, but just a bad closeout, compounded by bad help defense.
And we've got a 6-point ball game with Crossings on top, 11-5 here in the first period. I do want to make sure that you know the first period is brought to you by Buffalo Wild Wings at 5500 Tinker Diagonal, Del City. You come to Buffalo Wild Wings to support your favorite Middale winter sports team. Download the team card on your phone. Show your waiter, and your team will get 10% of the proceeds.
I want to mention, though, that we normally have the coaches show at Buffalo Wild Wings every Wednesday, but this coming Wednesday, we decided not to have it. You know why? You know what next Wednesday is? Or this coming Wednesday?
What is next Wednesday?
It's Valentine's Day.
It is. Oh, man, I have work to do.
That's why I brought it up.
Thank you. There's a whole lot of other guys out there doing the same thing right now.
Yep. And believe it or not, and you should believe it, Buffalo Wild Wings expects to have a good showing on Valentine's Day, so they would request that we wait a week for our next show. And we'll happily oblige. We could use the break.
Under 3 minutes to play in the first period. 6-point lead now for Crossings Christian, 11-5. Jaden Hopkins on the right wing with the ball for Carl Albert. Carl Albert keeping the ball outside. Quincy Hopkins pulls up for the long 2 just outside the free throw line. Shots no good. Crossings with the rebound.
Well, you normally see Carl Albert with a high post guy against the zone, but we didn't see it there, and they really couldn't get anything going. Nice
Furnish
cut.
Drives the baseline. Parker sees him. That was a nice play.
Well, Crossings has settled in. And they're able to get shots in the paint. Carl Albert right now cannot get shots in the paint, or not good shots.
Jaden Hopkins passes back to Quincy. Quincy down low. Russell for 3. It's short. And Marcus James with the rebound. Ball stripped away from him. It looked like his jersey was about to get pulled off there from the front. And jump ball is called on the rebound.
Risky for Hutch Russell to still be in with 2 and reach in like that, but it worked. And they're having problems finishing, too. We're going to see Steven Anderson and another sub come in for Carl Albert. They need a boost somewhere.
Now, Marcus James, quite a football player.
Yep.
And right now, one of the things I'm seeing, he's not quite as smooth out on the court when it comes to pulling down the rebounds, things like that. And yet he's a phenomenal receiver on the football team. Basketball hands, not quite as smooth as some of these other guys. Brandon Rogers drops the 3, the Bobby Lewis Insurance 3 for Carl Albert. Bobby Lewis Insurance, surprisingly great rates at 2 locations. And now a drive in by Phoenix Woodson, misses a shot, gets his own rebound, puts it back in for 2.
Carl Albert needs to collapse the paint. I know Crossings can shoot, but right now the Knights are getting very good looks in the paint.
Well, they have definitely got some guys with size and strength in there. And now Rogers in a little bit of trouble down the corner, passes the ball out. Jaden Hopkins. Hopkins back to the corner to number 5, Steven Anderson, who's now in the game for Carl Albert. Pulls up the free throw line. Jaden Hopkins for 2. That's his first field goal of the ball game.
So you're seeing some good rhythm plays for Carl Albert the last 2 trips.
They need a stop now, right?
Now's the question, can they defend the paint?
So Goodell with the ball out top, defended by Rogers. Goodell in the paint now. Pulls up from the elbow, shot no good, and ball's tipped out of bounds. It'll stay with Crossings Christian.
Good defense by Rogers.
40 seconds left to play here in the first period. 15-10 the score. Crossings leading Carl Albert. Crossings sitting all alone in first place in District 5A1. Carl Albert with a record of 9-2 in district, right behind Guthrie with a record of 10-2. Carl Albert with that tiebreaker if they can get the win here tonight. Goodell inbounds the ball to Furnish. Furnish defended by Jaden Hopkins. Big screen set by Cam Parker. Parker thinks about the 3, kicks it back out. Furnish for the deep 3. Boom! He hits it. Furnish with 7 points.
There's no spot on the floor where he's not dangerous.
Bobby Lewis Insurance. The number in Choctaw for Bobby Lewis Insurance, 405-281-6700.
And that's going to be free throws for Hopkins, so it's good a time to drive. It should be free throws.
Foul on the floor. That one on Matt Goodell, his second personal foul.
I'm looking at the wrong one. It's 4 fouls on Crossings. I looked at the timeouts.
Well, Crossings fans calling for a travel, and I think they're justified in that, but Carl Albert turns the ball over anyway.
Yeah, I mean, they had a 3, but I think it was Anderson. It wasn't an accurate pass to him. That's one of the reasons why he almost traveled.
Furnish pulls trigger on another 3. That one's front of the rim. Jaden Hopkins with the rebound, and we're going to have a quick reach-in foul.
Now, that should be 5. That is a bad foul.
On Braden Buckingham.
Buckingham's got to know better. You got to be comfortable with the foul situation. I'm sure Coach Schenk is telling him that. I mean, you have an 8-point lead. You're very happy with that if you're Crossings. And you're happy with a 6-point lead if it comes to that. But you don't want to send a team to the free throw line like that, fouling 80 feet away from the basket.
Jaden Hopkins at the line with the Toonie Buys Houses free throws. He puts the first one off the front of the rim. That's something you frequently will see late in the game when the legs are starting to get tired, not in the first period.
Well, and free throws have been a problem for Carl Albert. They've done a lot of bad things this quarter. Fortunately, only be down 8.
So Hopkins misses both free throws, and then a heave at the buzzer from about three-quarter court by Crossings is way too short after 1 period of play. It's 18-10. We'll take a break. This is Oklahoma Sports Network.
If you've lived in Oklahoma long enough, you'll know that we get extreme weather. With that extreme weather comes hail damage to your roof and an insurance claim. When that happens, there's not a better company to deal with on your insurance claim than Cantrell Roofing and Construction. Since 1987, Cantrell Roofing and Construction has proven to be the best in the business, and always remember, got hail? Call Cantrell. Call them at 405-642-8558.
It's the Oklahoma Sports Network. Tracy Mussett, Jordan Ray back at Carl Albert High School, where the Carl Albert Titans are hosting the Crossings Christian Knights in a District 5A1 game. Crossings Christian sitting all alone in first place, trying to hold on to that. And Carl Albert fighting, trying to secure their place as second in the district right now. This second period we're about to begin, brought to you by Casa Juanito. Casa Juanito is a quick service restaurant offering fresh and flavorful fiesta meals in Del City, Oklahoma. Since 1976, located at 4718 Southeast 29th Street, Del City. That's just east of Sooner Road.
What a block by Marcus James, and we've seen this before, we're second chance points for Crossings. Another thing they're doing really well, they're going to get to the free throw line. And of course, I'm just still amazed that the free throws have been so bad for Carl Albert.
Carl Albert is 2 for 6 in the first period, 33% from the line. Cam Parker at the line, shooting the Toonie Buys Houses free throws. The foul was called on Quincy Hopkins, his first personal. Cam Parker hits the front end of the 2 free throws. And the lead's at 9, 19-10. Hutch Russell checks back in as Jaden Hopkins takes a seat.
We saw Crossings run a kind of a pinch the post play with Parker, hoping that Carl Albert would overplay the guards, and they did. That's what happened. That's what led to the good shot. They have something in mind on offense. Just about every situation is Crossings, because they can beat you in so many ways.
Steven Anderson brings the ball up the court for Carl Albert. It's a 10-point game now with Crossings up 20-10. Quincy Hopkins out top of the ball. Crossings in a man defense. Anderson for 3 from the elbow. Shot no good. Rebound by Goodell. Passes it up the court. Jonah Kelly. Goodell running point. Buckingham going against the defense of Russell. Russell reaching in and picks up his 3rd personal foul. That's not good.
Well, and Buckingham lost his dribble, so Hutch was thinking, okay, here's a chance to get the steal, but he wasn't really in position to get the ball there. Kind of understand why he reached, but again, with 2 fouls in the first half,
and we're less than
a gamble.
Another problem for Carl Albert. We're less than 2 minutes into the second period. We have 2 fouls on Carl Albert already. Furnish drives in. He scores. He has 9 points in the ball game now, and it's a 12-point lead for Crossings. Anderson gives the ball. Russell pulls the trigger on a deep 3. Boom! It's a Bobby Lewis Insurance 3 by Hutch Russell.
So he's staying in the game, and you can see why. And you got to keep an eye on Hutch on defense.
Furnish brings the ball up the court. Rogers on D. Screen set by Parker. Furnish crossover backside layup, puts it in for 2.
Just amazed there's not more defenders there for Carl Albert. They're not collapsing at all. Yeah, they're too concerned about the 3-point shooters for Crossings.
Russell's 3 that time, no good. James gets a rebound, misses the putback. Rebound now by Crossings, and they're pushing the ball back up the court. 24-13 the score with 6 minutes to play in the second period.
So many of Carl Albert's shots feel rushed, even that shot by James.
Parker inside to Kelly, loose ball. Off of Kelly, it's Carl Albert basketball.
That's the first time we've seen someone from Carl Albert make a really good play on defense, that being Quincy Hopkins. Marcus James will get a rest. He's replaced by a guy who's a lot shorter, but he's a physical guy. We'll see if LeBron Royal can effectively bang inside.
Quincy Hopkins brings the ball up the court. Rogers on the left wing, pulls the trigger on a 3. Boy, it just hits the iron and comes out. Cam Parker gets the rebound. Goodell brings the ball up the court. Woodson sets the screen. Goodell's in traffic. Kelly in the corner. Wasn't sure what to do with the ball. He passes off to Furnish. That's always a good option. Give it to Furnish, right?
Yes.
Kelly gets the rebound, puts it back up, and Anderson gets the rebound for Carl Albert.
Titans dodged the bullet on that offensive rebound miss.
Hopkins from the left elbow. That's Quincy. Gets his own long rebound after it's tipped out. Hutch Russell, 4-3 from the left wing. Boom! He hits another Bobby Lewis Insurance 3. 3 threes for Hutch Russell here in the first half. And it's back to an 8-point ball game, 24-16.
Yeah, that's why they have to keep Hutch in. They don't have Reynolds in right now, so he's their other great three-point shooter.
Goodell gets it to Woodson down low. Royal on D. Woodson backs him down and puts that one in, a little left-handed scoop.
Again, I'm just surprised there's not more help coming or Royal's got to try to force him farther from the basket if he's not going to get that help.
Quincy Hopkins sets up the offense. Steven Anderson on the left wing now. Crossing staying in that zone defense. Quincy goes into the paint, has the ball just stripped away as he's coming up for the shot. Cal Furnish going for the layup over the front of the rim, good for 2. 13 points for Furnish here in the first half.
And we'll see that on our Super Subs instant replay.
Anderson gives it to Russell. Down low to Rogers. Rogers on the baseline and tries to give the ball to Royal. Throws it at his feet, and it goes out of bounds. Turnover by Carl Albert.
Now, he's someone who's new to the rotation for Carl Albert. So is Royal. He's a sophomore, and you kind of see that they're going to try some things that, that they're probably not, you're not used to seeing for a Carl Albert team. But anyway, we got a timeout here. It's a 30-second timeout.
Now, Coach Jay Price calls that 30-second timeout. One of the things we didn't mention at the start of the game, make sure we cover this, we just gave a name, but Dynamic Health, the starting lineup sponsor, and Dr. Kaufman there specializes in athletic injuries and is able to get athletes back in action very quickly using a system called Advanced Muscle Integration. Play better, recover faster, Dynamic Health Clinic. Carl Albert back out on the court already, ready to go. Trailing by 12, 28-16 the score here in the second period.
Well, no Marcus James in, no Ryan Reynolds. How they defend the paint is real important right now for Carl Albert, and because that's been probably the biggest concern for them on defense. It's been the thing is Crossings has owned the paint both ways. And Carl Albert has stayed in it a little bit with three-point shooting.
Crossings ball coming out of the timeout. 4 minutes to play in the second period. Furnish brings the ball up court, crosses the timeline. Rogers meets him. Woodson out high on the right wing. Crossing keeping the ball outside. Rogers staying with Furnish now. Furnish bounces the ball off his leg. Woodson pulls the trigger on a three. High bounce. Royal comes up with the rebound and steps on the baseline as he comes. Oh, no, a foul call. Excuse me.
I thought that's exactly what happens, what you said, and maybe it was going to happen.
Well, look,
but there was some foul. I didn't even see.
Yeah, the referee pointed at the baseline. He was saying foul on the floor, I guess is what he was saying. Foul was on Nate Rouse, his first personal foul. And first team foul in the second period. Quincy Hopkins in the corner. Carl Albert swinging the ball around the perimeter outside. Russell back out to Anderson. Boy, he's covered up quick by 2 defenders as soon as he catches the ball. Russell kicks the ball back out to Rogers now. Nothing happening inside for Carl Albert, and that's allowing those defenders to close on the guards. Nice move by Anderson, just can't complete the shot. Royal gets the rebound. On the floor now, scrambling for it. Woodson now has the ball, pushes it up the court. Might have been a travel there, and we call it.
Yeah, now LeBron Royal, give him credit for getting the offensive rebound, but he has to know he's only 6 feet tall. He should not be shooting that shot, given that you got a couple of really tall players in for Crossing, tall athletic players. He needs to get, if he gets that rebound, he needs to get the ball out to a guard.
And he's going to take a seat as Ryan Reynolds comes back into the ball game. 12-point game. Crossings leading Carl Albert 28-16, 2:45 to play in the second period. Anderson passes off Russell. Russell drives in, kicks it to Reynolds, right back to Russell. Russell's looking for that open three, but they are closing on him quickly when he catches the ball. Inside to Anderson. Anderson gives a head nod, has a shot blocked by Woodson. Woodson comes up with it. Rogers is going to be called, I believe, Rogers, for the reaching in foul.
I mean, again, when you got a smaller player like Anderson, you got to go inside out.
So Anderson gets called for the foul from behind instead of Rogers, who is in front of the play. Third team foul on Carl Albert, first personal foul on Anderson. Furnish goes right. Furnish has a nice little crossover and step back, and he puts in the 12-foot jumper.
So Brandon Rogers did everything right there, but Furnish just made an unbelievable shot. The type of thing you'll see him do at the next level.
Furnish is doesn't have a lot of height, but he's got some really good elevation, and he's got a great step back. There is a steal by Caden Lyle, misses the layup. Putback is missed by Nate Rouse, and Carl Albert gets the ball coming back the other way.
I would have been interested to see if they scored, if Crossing scored, if Carl Albert would have called a timeout because they only have 3 right now.
Jaden Hopkins makes the great athletic move, splitting defenders and rolling it off the glass. Super Subs instant replay here. Remember, Super Subs has those chicken Phillies. Try the deluxe buffalo or barbecue chicken. Another miss by Crossings. Jaden Hopkins pushing the ball up the court. You know, a couple of moves like that, and Hopkins will get really confident. There's a 3 by Rogers. Woodson with the rebound for Crossings. A minute 12 to play, and Woodson loses his dribble out of bounds, turning it over. It's Carl Albert basketball.
Couple of sloppy plays from Crossings. You got to take advantage of that for Carl Albert. That was an unforced turnover. So
not a defender anywhere around him.
Yeah, so what can Crossings do? They can bring in all new players because their coach told me yesterday they will go 12 deep regardless of the score. And you see right now 5 guys in, 5 guys out. They even took Furnish out.
Austin Johnson checks in for Carl Albert. Quincy Hopkins, he drives in, misses the layup on the backside. Cam Parker picks up the rebound for Crossings.
That was a great move, just couldn't finish.
You know, the one player who stayed on the court for Crossings was Woodson, who had turned it over there. Anderson goes up, lays it off the glass, and draws the foul from Cam Parker.
So Anderson went up for a shot a few minutes ago, got it blocked. He knows now against a taller player, you have to protect the ball when you go up. He did a good job of that, drawing contact. Now can Carl Albert turn it around from the free throw line?
So it's back to a 10-point game. 30-20 the score with 48 seconds to play here in the second. Anderson's free throw is up, no good. Woodson gets the rebound.
It's a lot of nerves for Carl Albert. It's unbelievable they would shoot free throws this badly.
2 for 7 from the free throw line now. Barely over 25%. And the foul's going to get called on Jaden Hopkins. As he's going.
An offensive foul. Illegal screen on Parker, I think. Even though his own player, I guess, tripped off of him. But, of course, they're going to say he fouled, I think, Anderson. It was either Anderson or
so the reason, I guess the reason the player tripped over Hopkins was because, or Anderson, whichever one it was, there was because Cam Parker moving screen pushed him into him, is what they called, right?
Yeah. So Carl Albert's starting to find ways to effectively utilize their speed.
They have slowed down the scoring of Crossings.
Yes. Some of it's on Crossings' own doing, but you expect that to happen over the course of a full game. Again, can they take advantage on offense?
Yeah, the Titans have just got to get better at putting the ball in the hole right now. The defense is starting to step up. Jaden Hopkins, Ryan Reynolds from the corner, no good. Woodson with the rebound. Down the court, number 5, Luke Brown, shot no good, and a foul's going to be called on who?
It was a late call considering there wasn't a lot of contact on the shot itself, but then the player that got fouled, that's for Crossings, Luke Brown, fell down with a couple of Carl Albert players. There was contact after the shot, so it feels like that's what they're calling there.
Yeah, they called it on the floor. The foul's going on Jaden Hopkins. His second personal.
Not a shooting foul. That's an unusual one. I don't see what happened. And you could see the Coach Shink wants free throws. That's an unusual call.
And Woodson, the inbound pass to Woodson off his hands out of bounds, but Jaden Hopkins trying to come up with it, touches it. Crossings ball with 3.5 seconds to play here in the half.
Carl Albert cannot give up a score here. They got to protect the paint against the taller Crossings players. Don't leave him open, though.
Woodson steps back for the 3. Shot no good, and that's half, folks. 30-20. Crossings leading Carl Albert at halftime. There's a lot of activity in that last minute and a half. Sloppy turnovers by Crossings, a lot of defensive activity by Carl Albert. There's an interesting dynamic in the game that happened there the last couple of minutes.
Yeah, you finally saw Carl Alberts use her speed to kind of get some stops. You're going to see both head coaches confer with the refs about something, maybe something different. But that's unusual to see that both coaches be talking to the refs. I know what Crossings coach wants, Coach Shink. He can't believe he didn't get free throws on that last foul. But maybe there's something else that caused Coach Price to join the meeting there.
Yeah. So about the first 10 minutes of the game, Crossings looks like a really high basketball IQ, well-disciplined team.
Yep.
Carl Albert starts stepping up the defense a little bit, using that speed you're talking about. Crossings makes a few mistakes, and then in the last few minutes, it looks like a more competitive game where both teams are playing similar style basketball, and the shots are not falling for either one of them well late in the half. It's a 10-point game at half, though it was a bigger lead by Crossings at one point in that first half. Several turnovers by both teams will total up some points, but Cal Furnish, by far the leading scorer in the first half of the ball game.
Yeah, he's the guy you'll have to worry about. If Carl Albert makes any type of run in the second half, then you'll look for Crossings to give the ball to Furnish quite a bit.
And just a quick score update, that Midwest City game, boys games final, 71-35, Midwest City defeats Guyman.
So they clinch a 1 seed. No, nothing can happen against them that will keep them and their first-year head coach, Tori Newell, from getting a 1 seed. Still look forward to their game tomorrow night because it's senior night there at Midwest City High School. And we'll take a quick break and we'll come back in a bit here. You're watching Middale Basketball on the Oklahoma Sports Network.
Have you ever seen an insurance commercial and asked yourself, are they really telling me the truth? Well, guess what? They're not.
Somebody runs a red light and you think all of a sudden their insurance company's going to be all neighborly about it? Insurance companies aren't in the business of saving you money. They're in the business of keeping your money.
So remember, save our number in your phone so when tragedy strikes,
Call Rob and Will.
Plains Plumbing has been offering reliable commercial and residential services to the OKC metro area for over a decade. From new construction and remodeling to residential repair, they can handle jobs of all sizes. When you need a trusted name in plumbing, it's Red Plains Plumbing. Family owned and operated. Phone 405-769-1922. That's 405-769-1922.
Oklahoma Sports Network, this is Tracy Mussett, Jordan Ray, back at Carl Albert High School, beginning the second half of play with the Crossings Christian Knights leading Carl Albert Titans 30-20 as we begin this third period of play. Third period brought to you by Rose State College. Parents, if you want to save money on college, help your student get ahead by earning college credit in high school. It's called concurrent enrollment, and Rose State College makes it easy and very affordable. Apply today at rose.edu/concurrent. That's concurrent, CONCURRENT.
Crossings go to a man.
Carl Albert with the ball here, working it around the perimeter. Jaden Hopkins now out on the right wing, looking inside, pulls up. Ryan Reynolds in the corner, steps around Woodson, pulls up. About 15 feet out, shot's no good. Rebound Crossings.
Reynolds has not been close on any of his jumpers, and that is a problem for Carl Albert because he can really do a lot to soften up a defense.
Yeah, and that's got to be nerves because he's not just missing a little bit. He's missing them pretty bad.
Yeah.
Cam Parker gets the bucket for two. He has 11 points in the ball game now.
Well, for some reason, Cam Parker switched or got switched on by Quincy Hopkins. That matchup doesn't make sense. If that's going to take place on a accidental matchup, then he needs help.
Quincy Hopkins gets his first points of the ball game, drives in and rolls it off the backboard. 10-point game, 32-22. Crossings with the ball. Leading scorer in the ball game is Cal Furnish with 15 points. Make it 17 for Cal.
I don't understand why Marcus James is so far away from the basket. And I don't know if Coach Price is going to address that or something else, but it's not usual to see Carl Albert give up easy layups like that in the half court. And now it is a 30-second timeout.
It's a full.
It's a full. So we'll take a quick break here. You're watching Middale Basketball on the Oklahoma Sports Network.
Have you ever seen an insurance commercial and asked yourself, are they really telling me the truth? Well, guess what? They're not.
Somebody runs a red light, and you think all of a sudden their insurance company's going to be all neighborly about it? Insurance companies aren't in the business of saving you money. They're in the business of keeping your money.
So remember, save our number in your phone so when tragedy strikes,
call Rob and Will.
Oklahoma Sports Network, Tracy Mussett, Jordan Ray, back at Carl Albert High School. The Crossings Christian Knights leading Carl Albert Titans 34-22 in this District 5A1 matchup. And full timeout called, and Crossings used every second they could of that one, talking about their game plan here. Jaden Hopkins works his way through defenders, gets to the hole, and then has that ball slapped all the way back into the backcourt. Or I should say the high court.
And that shot by Hopkins is one of his specialties. It's just not fallen.
Good defense there by Crossings. Furnish drives in on the layup, he draws the foul.
Now Furnish got into the paint, and this time there was help. Of course, he drew a foul, so look, it's on the floor. That's surprising. I thought that was an act of shooting. And it's the third foul on Jaden Hopkins, so that might be a bit of concern for Carl Albert. And Hopkins isn't ready.
Hopkins and Russell both with 3 fouls now. Furnish picks up his dribble on the baseline, kicks it back out to Cam Parker.
Yeah.
Right back to Furnish. Furnish got away with a little bit of a travel there and a push-off. Now it is Evan Krotz. Pulls up at the low block and spins that one off the glass. And, boy, we're lucky we didn't have a foul call to Marcus James there that could have been detrimental because a foot up in the air kind of caught Krotz in the abdomen.
Hutch could have gotten called for a foul.
James working his way to the basket, puts up the floater, bounces around, doesn't go in. He's struggling with his touch on the ball tonight.
Early whistle there. But we did see, because I think before that timeout called by Coach Price, we saw Marcus James so far away from the basket guarding Parker at the top, as they're going to call it travel on crossings here. And he has got to be a force on defense.
I do like the way this
he's got to help out more.
I do like the way this officiating crew has got together a couple of times on a call to figure out what's going on. Hutch pulls the trigger on a deep three. That one's no good. Woodson's pushing it up the court, going against the defense of Marcus James. James gets a handle on it. Now Goodell with the ball. Down low in the hands of Reynolds, and then over to Marcus James. Jaden Hopkins pushing it up the court. At the free throw line, pulls up for the jumper, good for two. And all alone down the court is Krotz for the layup.
Well, that just kills you if you're Carl Albert. You finally get a basket, and transition defense all of a sudden doesn't happen.
Quincy Hopkins out of control, but draws the foul. He gets bailed out on that one. And Ryan Reynolds was struggling to pull the ball in when he was standing out of bounds on the other end of the court, and he was dangerously close to stepping back in bounds before he threw that ball in. Foul was called on number 30, Phoenix Woodson, his first personal. Quincy Hopkins gets the Toonie Buys Houses free throws. He hits the first one. Toonie Buys Houses, folks, in any condition. If you know someone needs to sell a house, then you sell it quick. Any reason, call Toonie Buys Houses, 405-931-3046. Both free throws hit by Quincy Hopkins. Maybe he can get the free throw train going for Carl Albert here. Back to a 12-point game, 38-26. Krotz picks up his dribble. Parker down low to Woodson all alone. Just hops up in the air and slams that one down.
We'll see that on our replay here, and Marcus James just got picked. Their own communication. I think Quincy Hopkins, picked Marcus James. They weren't talking.
As the super subs replay. Jaden Hopkins in the paint, pulls up from the left elbow. Shot's a little long, hits the back iron, bounces out. Krotz pulls up the rebound. Hopkins still defending him in the backcourt, gets left behind. All the way to the hole. Krotz misses the layup. Good defense by Jaden Hopkins at the end of the play. Quincy Hopkins going to the hole, puts that one up. Shot no good. Marcus James gets the rebound, misses the putback, hits Cam Parker in the face, no call.
You got to make that. It's just that simple.
Goodell, Cam Parker out top of the key. Goodell cuts under the basket, nothing there. Krotz to Woodson. Woodson backing down defenders. Woodson gets his own rebound, puts it up. Shot no good. James gets the rebound, and a lot of contact, no call.
After Marcus James' worst offensive play, he just made his best defensive play, and that was an impressive defensive play by Marcus James.
Hutch Russell on the baseline, gives it to Marcus James in the paint, has the ball stripped away. Russell picks it up, makes an ugly shot from about 10 feet out.
Well, the spacing for Carl Albert, so Marcus James puts the ball on the floor because I don't know if it was Jaden Hopkins or Quincy, I forget which one, but they were on the other side of the paint, and that just made it easy for Crossings to defend the paint. They're not good spacing there. This is a good sub, by the way, for Coach Price, as Crossings brings out their two big guys, so now you can take out Marcus James if you're Carl Albert.
Now, Carl Albert, offensively, you're talking about the spacing. They're really struggling to get things going the right way right now and get some rhythm going. So Rogers, Anderson, and Royal check back into the game for Carl Albert. Anderson in the corner, steps back, swing the ball back around the top of the perimeter. Quincy driving in off the side of the rim. Royal gets the rebound, back out to Rogers. Rogers the long two, shot no good, and it's going out of bounds off the hands of Crossings.
Royals made the good play there. He got an offensive rebound. He kicked the ball out, even though Crossings does not have as much size as they normally do. But that was still a good call on his part, and Carl Albert just unfortunately missed the shot, but they get another chance at it.
Anderson to inbound the ball for Carl Albert on the baseline. It's a 14-point lead for Crossings. Quincy Hopkins takes the inbound pass. He pulls up, shot off the side of the rim, backboard, no good. Crossings with the basketball. 2 minutes and 10 seconds to play in the third period.
When you see Quincy Hopkins routinely miss shots like that he makes often, it just goes to what it feels like, that Carl Albert's not very relaxed. They are just very tense right now, and they have been that way on offense the entire night.
Furnish is a phenomenal basketball player. And there's a Bobby Lewis Insurance 3. That one drained by Coleman Ridley. Extends the lead to 17 for Crossings now. One of the things I keep seeing Furnish do, though, is every time he goes to drive around the defender, he's got his elbow up in their chest. And every time, and it hasn't been called yet that I'm aware of.
I think you're right. That's an interesting observation. Because Quincy kind of did it right there.
Rogers down low with the ball, in a little bit of trouble. Carl Albert gets the ball back out. Hutch Russell fouled on the 3. No.
Loose ball foul on Carl Albert. I will say this. One of the things Crossing does well, they contest the three-point shot really well. They don't. Carl Albert used to try to get them on pump fakes, which they do, but the way that Crossings closes so well is even if you get them on a pump fake, they recover. So it's just really hard to get anything going on offense because the threes get closed out fast, and the driving lanes really aren't there.
And Furnish loses the ball as he goes up for the shot.
Xavier Garcia knocked it off, I think. He's just come to the game for the first time. Made a good defensive play there to keep it at 17.
Now Carl Albert really needs at least one score, a stop, and another score here to have this game within reach going into the fourth. Quincy Hopkins out top, free throw line, loses the ball. Kelly comes up with it. Furnish pushing the ball down the court, gives it to Ridley. Ridley lays off the glass, shot no good. Royal with a rebound and cut underneath by Buckingham. And maybe not contact, maybe a good disruption to the play, but the foul called on Buckingham.
I did think a travel was about to be called.
I thought so too.
Yeah, so break for Carl Albert, but can he score?
Anderson goes in and gets called for the offensive foul as he goes up for the shot.
Again, nothing is easy for them in the paint. Crossings closes out so well on threes, but they also pack the paint so well. I knew they'd be good on offense, but their defense has been more impressive actually tonight.
Yeah, I have their basketball IQ and discipline is showing up on defense in a big way tonight. You are right.
And it's led to what I think are some panic plays from Carl Albert on offense.
Buckingham bringing the ball up the court against Anderson's defense. Gets around Anderson, goes to the hole. Bad layup by Buckingham. He grabs his knee after the end of the play, but he's coming back down the court okay. Nice play by number 4, Xavier Garcia, who's now in the basketball game.
You see that in the Super Subs instant replay. Great great play by Quincy Hopkins to get that assist. So Carl Alberts, they've had some defensive breakdowns, but they've had a lot of good possessions on defense, especially since late in the second quarter. Just offense hasn't been there.
So Evan Krotz picks up his third personal foul, and LeBron Royal saving an a rebound. Gets another shot opportunity. Anderson for 3, and it's short at the buzzer. 15-point lead for Crossings going to the fourth period. 43-28 is the score. Crossings leading Carl Albert. It's time for us to take a quick break right here on the Oklahoma Sports Network.
Where sports is our middle name. We are the Oklahoma Sports Network.
College is more than just going to class. College is a journey. It's meeting new people and making new friendships that will last a lifetime. It's learning from professors who care about you and your success. And finding out it can be really fun and rewarding. It's discovering that thing you want to do for the rest of your life. Cameron University is all about helping you grow and succeed. Because your success is our success.
Oklahoma Sports Network. This is Tracy Mussett and Jordan Ray bringing you Mid-Dell basketball here at Carl Albert High School. It's the Crossing Christian Knights, though, on top of Carl Albert, 43-28 as we begin the fourth period. And our fourth period brought to you by Dynamic Health.
Yep, Dynamic Health, fourth quarter.
Dynamic Health Clinic. Dr. Coffin specializes in athletic injuries and able to get athletes back in action very quickly using a system called Advanced Muscle Integration. Play better and recover faster at Dynamic Health Clinic.
In spite of everything else, you could see Crossing's coach, Sean Shank. Really enjoyed talking with him yesterday, by the way, but he's not happy with his offense. It's just that they've been able to have more strong possessions than Carl Albert.
So on the inbound play to begin the fourth period, Cal Furnish called for an offensive foul. Gives the ball back. That's turnover, and gives the ball back to Carl Albert. Anderson on the right wing driving in, and a foul called.
He sold the foul real well there. The question, of course, is another difference in this game, free throw shooting. Is it 2 for 8 you have now? I think Carl only got one or a couple free throws in the third quarter, but I know the last one by Garcia was missed. There we got to make.
Yeah, 2 for 3 in the third quarter. Anderson now here in the fourth hits the first of the Toonie Buys Houses free throws. Cuts the lead to 14. Second free throw is up. That one back iron. Bounces around. No good. Woodson pulls down the rebound. Still struggling at the line. And ball tipped away. LeBron Royal getting on the floor, getting dirty. And then Cal Furnish comes from behind and just strips it away from Garcia. Goodell trying to do a alley-oop to Parker, has the ball tipped away by Royal. Royal all over the court defensively right now.
Yeah, he's the guy who will come in when Marcus James needs a spell and you have to have him guard a bigger player, and he's played a lot bigger right now.
Furnish inbounds to Parker. Royal on D against Parker. Furnish leans into Rogers. Parker sets a screen and rolls. Furnish driving down low, baseline, kicks the ball way over the head of Buckingham into the stands. It is Carl Albert basketball.
Yeah, give credit to Brandon Rogers, and that is an uncharacteristic mistake by Furnish, and you normally don't see him do that. As he wanted a reverse layup, Carl Albert starting to pack the paint better. That was one of the bad things they did on defense. They were not helping out very well. Now they're starting to get better at that.
Anderson on the left wing takes the pass from Hopkins. Now Rogers for three. Boom! There's their Bobby Lewis Insurance three as Rogers drops his second three of the ball game. And it's an 11-point game all of a sudden, Jordan.
They are within range.
Cam Parker to Woodson. Woodson's going to lay that one up. Shot's no good. Should have went strong. Foul's called. Foul's on Quincy Hopkins, his second personal.
So you saw a trap there for Carl Albert, and their defense was really what I call extended. I've said this before tonight. And that led to pretty wide open paint for Crossings, but for somehow Woodson couldn't make the shot, and now he can't make the free throw.
Now Woodson misses the first of the Toonie Buys Houses free throw. He has 6 points in the game, 2 points in each of the first three periods.
It's amazing how basketball works, because Coach Shank, again, of Crossings, he would take a 12-point lead at this point in the game in a heartbeat, but you can tell he's also frustrated with some things he's seeing from his team.
So Rogers, top of the key with the basketball, got away with the travel. Quincy Hopkins for three, and there's another Bobby Lewis Insurance three. That one courtesy Quincy Hopkins.
Well, in that one, that's one of the most open looks Carl Albert's had from three-point range. Just a good job by Quincy Hopkins moving them out the ball, and we're seeing really good play from Brandon Rogers here. He made that pass.
Starting to see some energy from the Carl Albert student section. Quincy Hopkins gets called for the foul.
So Hopkins guarding the much taller Woodson, and you have to do that. I don't know why Woodson thinks he's going to the free throw line, but clearly that's not a shot.
Parker takes the inbound pass. Royal on D. Furnish on the baseline. And Rogers is going to be called for the shooting foul. That's Rogers' first personal foul, I believe. Third team foul on Carl Albert. But it is a 9-point game. We're in single digits now. 44-35 is the score.
You know, you mentioned this about Furnish. Now, in that one, I thought he did get away with hook. And I'm surprised we're not hearing more complaints about it. But wow, he was
Furnish
close.
shoots that one long, hard off the back iron.
Again, this is not Crossing's best offense. So these teams are ever in a rematch, and the rematch is possible. And the playoffs, I expect to see more and better offense from both teams.
So Furnish misses the first of the Toonie Buys Houses free throws, but hits the second, and it's a 10-point game, 45-35. Anderson with the ball, going left. Russell back in the game for Carl Albert. Rogers on the left wing. Overload on the right side for Carl Albert. Anderson from the free throw line. It's good. 8-point game, 45-37.
And we've seen some zone from Crossings. Carl Albert has not gone to the high post very much, but they did there, and they got a good shot.
Woodson driving in. Quincy on defense. Goodell trying to find Cam Parker down low. Ball goes in the air. Woodson comes up with it in the corner. Back to Parker. Good smart play by Hutch Russell as he tips the ball away on the pass. And Quincy Hopkins brings it up the court. Hopkins trying to go right to the hole, has to bounce back out with it. He pulls the trigger on a three from the corner. Boom! It's another Bobby Lewis Insurance three, and it's a 5-point basketball game.
I have to admit, I thought we might have a close game, but I didn't see this coming after the third quarter. And now we could probably say that Coach Shink of Crossings is not happy on either side of the ball with his team.
Yeah, there's a big breakdown by Crossings here, and you have to credit Carl Albert for what they're doing, but is this a full timeout? I did pay attention to that.
It's a 30.
It's a 30. So Carl Albert obviously doing some things right. Crossings having some breakdowns, and that lead that was 17 just a couple of minutes ago.
What you saw on that last sequence that was so important, Hutch Russell came in to help on defense. It's something and got the steal because you have to do that when you give up so much size. Crossings is a much taller team right now, and for much of this game, when they would go into the paint, Carl Albert's guards, like Hutch and others, not just him, would stay attached to their man. Now they're starting to realize, hey, we can help on this team. Yeah, we might give up an open three, but that's what we've got to do to protect the paint. And they're finally starting to play more to their type of defense they normally play under Coach Price, which is good help defense. You can leave your man if you rotate at the right time. And that's led to some breakdowns on offense for Crossings.
So we're 3 minutes into the fourth period. Crossings does not have a field goal in the fourth period. They have 2 for 4 from the free throw line.
Yeah.
And 12 points for Carl Albert here. Their highest scoring period, and we're not even halfway through it yet. So Cam Parker with the ball down low, tipped away. Quincy Hopkins comes up with it.
That was Rogers on defense. He has had an unbelievable game.
And Quincy Hopkins pulls the trigger on a three from the top of the key. No good. Royal and Furnish tie up the ball, and the possession arrow goes to Carl Albert.
I was going to say, Quincy Hopkins made his last 2 threes, so I would be okay with that. He's the 1,000-point scorer on this team.
Well, I'm going to tell you what, picking a player of the game is going to be difficult right now. But
yeah, and since Crossing's not with the network, we're definitely picking the Carl Albert player.
Right.
But
LeBron Royal has gotten dirty and created a lot of plays here, but he's not scoring a lot of points.
No, but he's played very well within himself, and that's why he's in the game right now, not Marcus James. And Brandon Rogers has been outstanding.
A three by Anderson, no good. Rogers gets the rebound and the putback, and it's a 3-point basketball game.
I've seen Brandon Rogers play some. This is unbelievable. And he has helped this team so much. He's guarding Furnish, as you can see right there, a little too aggressive. So he's going to get called for the foul, but it's let's see, where is that, 4? So not free throws yet. He's got to be smart about that, but he has been tremendous.
Little push off by Furnish on Rogers there to get open for the inbound pass. And a turnover on the inbound play. Hutch Russell comes up with the basketball.
Unbelievable. They could tie the game here.
It is a one-possession game, and Carl Albert has the basketball, and Quincy Hopkins may have gotten away with a travel, and there's the travel called on the floor.
That's good defense on Crossings. Just knocked the ball away. Got a wet spot there.
Yeah, we're talking here about players of the game, and we're talking about the aggressive defensive play of Royal, and we're talking about how great a job Rogers has done off the bench defending Furnish.
Evan Cox made that play, by the way, for Crossings. I think Quincy just didn't expect him to go for the steal there.
Parker out on the right wing, down low to Woodson. Woodson gets that one in the basket off the glass.
But when they want to go inside, they do a good job of getting their post players in good position.
Back to a 5-point game. 47-42, 3:40 to play. Quincy Hopkins to Hutch Russell in the corner. Way too long. Hopkins gets the rebound, goes off the glass, good for 2. He has 8 points here in the third period.
Or the second half?
In the fourth period. Yes, 12
in the fourth period. Okay.
12 points in the second half. 3-point game again, 47-44, and a foul on Royal. Getting underneath Cam Parker. That'll be the 5th.
Yeah, you got to just rely on your legs. 15 foul, of course, not on Royal, but you'll see free throws here. But, you give up that size, you got to start making contact early, but just not with your arms, not with your hands. Use your legs, use your core. Try to get the bigger Park away from the basket. Will Coach Price go back to Marcus James at any point? He's had a good defensive game, actually, I thought, with some mistakes, but offensively he hasn't been there for him.
Cam Parker's first free throw rims out. These are Toonie Buys Houses free throws.
I do respect and appreciate that Coach Price is riding with a couple guys he normally doesn't give a lot of playing time to, but they've earned it this game, and that's, of course, being Royal and Rogers.
Anderson getting a lot of playing time tonight. Parker misses the second free throw as well. Quincy Hopkins pulls down the rebound, 3-10, and again, it's a one-possession game, and Carl Albert has the basketball.
You are right about Anderson, but he has played some crunch time minutes before in this season, including a game against Dell City over at Mustang.
Rogers drives in, kicks the ball out. Anderson on the right wing. Hutch Russell out top. Rogers on the baseline, driving in. And LeBron Royal comes up with the ball, misses the shot. Rogers puts it in. It's a one-point basketball game, 47-46.
This is unbelievable. I thought heading to this fourth quarter, Carl Albert was dead. We're going to start looking at them unloading their bench. They got to play tomorrow. And they still aren't playing all their stars. I thought it would be a travel. It's going to be a timeout instead.
Yeah, Cam Parker did that big step back before dribbling that'll sometimes get a travel call, but coach calling a timeout.
Of course, Crossings also is playing 3 games in 4 nights. And this is another 30-second timeout. And what's also interesting about this, Tracy, is that Carl Albert's done a lot of this not using timeouts. They made a run just in keeping their guys in, but Coach Price used 3 timeouts early. Not too early in the third quarter when they had a really bad defensive sequence. Early in the third, they have not called a timeout since. And here they are within 1.
Well, this would be a huge win if Carl Albert pulls this win off against a team that is recognized as being one of the top in all classes in the state. And the significance in district standings this plays for Carl Albert and what that means in the playoffs.
Well, if they can pull it off, they will. They should, because they're going to play 2 easier teams after this. At least clinch a 2 seed. Now the problem is they're not going to catch Crossings they're not going to beat by 15 points or more. So Crossings with a loss would have a tiebreaker. However, Crossings still has the ball. They got Furnish, and we'll see what they can do trying to protect this lead here.
1-point game, 2:20 to play. 47-46, Crossings on top of Carl Albert. Russell against Goodell. Goodell doing a lot of dribbling in and out.
Making sure Carl was forcing a 5 count. They want to force a 5 count. Not a turnover yet, but a 5 count by getting close to the ball handler.
Crotch driving in, Anderson on D. Crossings using a lot of clock up. We're down to 1:50 now.
Look at Rogers denying first the ball.
And a quick foul called on Hutch Russell. That'll be his 4th.
He didn't like it. He didn't want a foul there.
That was a pretty touchy foul.
Yeah. Carl Albert did not want to go start trapping yet, but that's a very good possession for Crossings. The way they were able to keep handling the ball off. got the ball to what appears to be a good free throw shooter, and Mark Goodell, one of their senior guards.
Goodell gets the Toonie Buys Houses free throws. He hits the first one. It's a 2-point game. And second shot is up. It's back iron, no good. Rogers battling for the rebound, has it taken away by Cam Parker, and then LeBron Royal just grabs it and ties it up with Cam Parker. Possession arrow in favor of Crossings. So Crossings going to have the 2-point lead and the basketball, but what a hustle by LeBron Royal.
Yeah, and Rogers had it. He's been so good. He just couldn't pull the ball down in time to prevent the jump ball there, or the ball being taken from him by Parker. Big play by Parker.
Hutch Russell on Goodell. And Goodell puts a shoulder into Russell, sends him sailing across the floor. No call. Anderson called for the quick reach-in foul, and that's going to put Evan Krotz at the free throw line shooting 2.
It's the tough thing for Crop to finish, when you're a much smaller team and you're trying to get a rebound out of a missed free throw, and not getting that rebound might lead to more points here. Still a lot of time left.
Minute and a half left in the ball game, a 2-point game. Krotz with 2 free throws made could make this a 2-possession game, but he misses the front end of the Toonie Buys Houses free throws.
This is one of those games where you appreciate how close it's got. Neither coach will feel great about it.
We talked about the struggles that Carl Albert was having from the line in the first half, and Crossings shot great from the line, and now Crossings is 3 for 10 here in the fourth period. And it's still a 2-point game, 48-46. Carl Albert has the ball, a minute 15 to play. Hutch Russell with the ball out top. Goodell on D. Russell trying to drive around him, picks up his dribble, gives it to Rogers. Rogers on the right wing, bounces out.
Try to work it back to Quincy. Good move.
Quincy Hopkins going to the hole, lays it in, it's tie ball game, 48-48.
That's just a good pass from Rogers, I believe. And then Hopkins making a backdoor cut and finishing. That's what it was not happening for much of this game, especially the first half. Quincy Hopkins, remember, he had a missed dunk early in the game. He just couldn't finish around the basket. And he has played an outstanding second half.
And misses the free throw, so we're still tied up, and a foul called on the rebound.
Does anyone want to make a free throw? Chance for Carl Albert to lead. They had lead very early in this game, 3-2.
Foul goes on LeBron Royal. That'll be his third personal foul. I think that 33 that's up there is still from Woodson.
Both teams going to feel like they just missed on opportunities.
And
they did.
Or excuse me, they had that as LeBron Royal's first personal, and Woodson missing another free throw. Wow.
So if they make it or Carl Albert can get a stop, they can go again for the lead. They had their chance with Quincy Hopkins. What a crazy game.
48-48, 57 seconds. A 1-point lead as Woodson hits the second of the Toonie Buys Houses free throws. Quincy Hopkins brings the ball up the court.
By the way, Royals come out, so we got 5 guards in for Carl Albert. Well, we have a timeout. Coach has 2. He saved them.
Rogers to Russell. Hopkins has the ball out top. Well, I thought I heard a whistle, but I guess there's something going on in the stands making noise.
Now we have a timeout. 30 seconds to go. Whatever timeout it is, we'll keep it here.
Coach Jay Price has to run out on the court to get the officials' attention that he wants the timeout. It's a 1-point lead. Crossings leads Carl Albert 49-48, 30 seconds left. This has been a heck of a comeback by Carl Albert.
Well, let's think about what happened. I believe, I know Crossings came close a couple times to getting up by 19 in the second half, in the third quarter. And they looked like such a poised team. You just thought there's no way that they were going to make enough mistakes to blow this lead. They have. Some of it's on them, but Carl Albert got scrappier on defense, and that's the big thing. And then finally, they started to settle in on their shots because I thought they were just too tense for much of this game. They were missing some shots they shouldn't be missing. And again, you have to give a lot of credit to LeBron Royal for coming in and Brandon Rogers. And they normally do not play anywhere near this much. Normally they don't. Normally you'll see more Marcus James and more Ryan Reynolds. But those are the two that stepped up, and you get why Coach Price has stuck with them. I wasn't sure. I didn't know much about Brandon Rogers. I asked Coach Price about him last night on the coaches show, but he has really impressed me.
The job that he has done defending Cal Furnish has been a huge part of this game. You know, you can't ignore what Quincy Hopkins has done here in the second half.
Tremendous second half.
I mean, he has 10 points in the fourth period alone, 14 points in the second half. So he's been a huge factor, but Rogers' defense on Furnish has been just as big.
He's being guarded by Furnish. And you would think they're going to run a play for Quincy. Here we go.
Quincy Hopkins going to the hole, off the glass. It's good, and it's a 1-point lead for Carl Albert.
They're very small right now. Can Crossings take advantage?
Furnish with the basketball, going right. Pulls up on the baseline. Shot's no good. Rebound by Hutch Russell, and a foul called.
That's not going to be free throws if it's a foul on Crossings.
Fouls on Goodell. That's his third personal, and it's the fourth team foul. 10 seconds left with a 1-point lead for Carl Albert. What a huge win this is going to be if Carl Albert hangs on to win this ball game.
I mean, they've led for about, 30, 20 seconds worth of this game?
Well, they just took the lead on that last shot.
They had a 3-2 lead.
Oh, right,
in the first quarter.
Yeah.
Which that lasted maybe, I think Crossing scored maybe the very next trip, if I'm not mistaken. So, and that's it.
Yeah.
And
there's been three lead changes. That one when they took that 3-2 lead, they took it right back, and then the lead change had just happened.
Just a very interesting decision by Coach Schenk not to call a timeout there because they had such a size advantage. Carl Albert took out Royal. They have no interior defenders in, really. Rogers is the closest thing to it, but he's been guarding and very well Furnish. And Furnish, I mean, we've seen what a great talent he is, but he forced a shot. I was surprised. I thought they could have worked a better shot. I'm still surprised with their size advantage, and they've been getting a lot of points in the paint the first three quarters that they didn't try to force, or not force, but try to work the ball into their post players. Now you're in a situation where can Carl Albert inbound the ball first? And they're having 5 guards out there. And then they got no timeouts, so you don't want to be up only one. Because if they give up a basket, they don't have any timeouts they can do anything with. Talking about Carl Albert. So you know they're going to get fouled pretty quickly.
Right.
So it's real important they make these free throws. They get the inbounds, and it goes without saying, but it becomes even more important that they make the free throws because they have no timeouts, not just because it's the game situation.
Well, they've made 5 free throws in the entire game. Hutch Russell takes the inbound pass. He's fouled. That's probably one of the better options for Carl Albert at the free throw line.
I don't know if he's shot any. I don't think he has he?
Not in this game, no.
So even though he made 3 threes early on, no free throws this game. This is a tough spot for him to be in, no matter how good of a shooter you are. Now, will Coach Price make a defensive sub? And that sub may be Royal.
It'll come after the first shot if he does. First free throw's up, but it's no good. It's still a 1-point lead with 8.5 seconds.
I think you got to make a defensive sub now because now you got to protect the paint. But they're not going to do it, it looks like. And, again, Crossings has been sticking with Parker and Woodson.
So you got the big guys down low for Crossings. Hutch is at the line shooting the second of the Toonie Buys Houses free throws. The second shot's good. It's a 2-point lead now for Carl Albert. And timeout called. 2-point lead. Carl Albert leads 51-49 on this amazing comeback. They were trailing by 15 at the start of the fourth period. This is a full timeout.
Yeah, we're keeping it here because when it's a close game late, lots of things to talk about. And even if Crossing sits a 3 here at the end, I'll still and they win. I'm still going to go talk to Coach Price. I didn't know if I wanted to talk to him if Carl Albert lost by 20. Definitely talk to him and a player of the game, who we can talk about briefly. I like Brandon Rogers a lot.
I do.
Yeah. I mean, Quincy Hopkins has been their best scorer, of course, and he's the best scorer throughout the season, but really stepped up his offense.
Well, I love when we can pick somebody who it's not about them padding the score sheet, but it's about the difference they made in the game defensively and rebounding the ball. And Rogers has
scored
been
too some.
He has absolutely. Yeah, he has 8 points in the fourth period. Excuse me, 7 points in the fourth period, and then the difference he's made defensively on Furnish has just been phenomenal.
So here's the defensive sub. Marcus James back in. You're going to see Quincy Hopkins defend. Now, he's defended Phoenix Woodson throughout the game. He started on Phoenix Woodson. Still a size advantage for crossings. And will he be able to get the ball into Furnish?
Well, lucky they didn't get a foul call just then. Furnish has an open look at a three. Back iron, no good. Carl Albert wins the basketball game, defeating the Crossing Christians Knight. What an amazing comeback, down by 15 to start the fourth period. The students are rushing the court, celebrating with the team. This is a huge win for Carl Albert. It's not a state championship, but the students feel like they just won a state championship in this game tonight. Crossings is a phenomenal team, one of the most disciplined, high basketball IQ teams that I've seen in a long time. What a great win for Carl Albert. And folks, Jordan has made his way down to the court. He's going to have to pull Coach Jay Price out of that mass and get a chance to talk to him here as Coach Price is going to celebrate a minute with the fans and with the students, his players. But we'll be announcing the player of the game as well. And player of the game sponsored by the Eastside Church of Christ. The Eastside Church of Christ in Midwest City, we believe in loving Jesus by loving our neighbors. And folks, I say we honestly because I'm one of the ministers there, a member of this great loving congregation. We invite you to join us Sunday mornings at 9 a.m. for Bible class. Our worship service starts at 10 a.m. Song and praise, if you can't make it then, 7 p.m. on Wednesdays. We have live and recorded streams on YouTube. You can find out more information on our website at eastsidechurchofchrist.org. The Eastside Church of Christ. We're located at 916 South Douglas in Midwest City, and Eastside Church of Christ sponsoring player of the game. We've got Jordan Ray down to the court with Coach Jay Price and with a couple of players. So, Jordan, take it away.
Coach Price, first question, are you okay?
I don't know. That was crazy. That was a wild finish.
Okay, so I think your biggest deficit in the second half was at 17?
I'm not sure. I know it climbed up there pretty high, and fortunately we got it down to 10 or 12 and gave ourselves a chance. And then, wow, what a fourth quarter. Unbelievable.
You had to burn timeouts early. I mean, I know you're frustrated with your team for many reasons. What are some of the things you can say that changed?
Well, I don't think we were playing just confident. We were playing kind of scared, like it's too big of a game for us, and we were afraid to go make plays and afraid to do things, and everything was going their way. We're missing shots, and things weren't going well at all. So we had to take timeouts to try to change the tempo, our personnel to change the tempo, and fortunately we finally found some things that started clicking, and shots started going in, and they started missing a few, and next thing you know, we got a shot at it and ended up pulling it out.
Well, you found some players you could stick with. What can you say about LeBron Royal and our player of the game is Brandon Rogers for defending Furnish and making some shots as well? But what can you say? Those two, I don't know if they've ever played that many minutes in the game for you.
Yeah, probably not. The thing that's consistent about those guys is they're fierce competitors. They want to win. They'll do whatever it takes to win. And, they did what we asked them to do. LeBron's a physical player. Brandon's really smart and athletic and did a good job. And you expect those guys to come in and do some things that you practice. And, they did a great job tonight. It was fantastic.
You cleared a major hurdle to host a regional, and now maybe, if Guthrie has similar fortunes against him, might even win this district. What do you think?
No, we got a shot. I'm thrilled to win this and put us in a position to get to host. That's what you want, and that's a huge thing for us to get to do. And the rest of it just falls where it may. But at this point, that's a big accomplishment for us, having lost two early in the season and being able to pull one out. So yeah, it's a big deal for us.
All right, Coach, you had to lead for about 30 seconds in this game, but you picked the right 30 seconds. So congratulations.
Thank you. We'll take it. Appreciate it.
All right, I'm going to talk next to the 1,000-point score for Carl Albert Quincy. You had a tough first half, shooting-wise, and then you got some things going here in the second half. What can you say about what started going for you here in the second half?
Momentum, just not quitting, wanting to win. My will to win is what got me to start going, really.
Okay, and what can you say about what your mentality was with your team down double digits throughout most of the second, third quarter, on into the fourth?
just don't quit. We had a don't quit mentality. Our team, we knew it was going to be a tough win to get, and we just didn't quit. We just stayed consistent through it all, just waiting for our moment.
How'd you get comfortable against the way they were defending you? And obviously, you go to the paint. You got two tall guys to try to block your shot. What was important to do right against this type of team in Crossings?
Trying to finish through the bigs, it was just go into their chest, attack them straight on. The zone was just attack the zone, attack the gaps in the zone, and that's really all I tried to do.
All right, Quincy, and congratulations for your 1,000 points, and good luck tomorrow night against Western Heights.
Thank you, thank you.
Okay, this guy who I didn't know much about before tonight, Brandon Rogers, Eastside Church of Christ player of the game. Brandon, first of all, have you played this many minutes before in a varsity game?
Not really this much. Probably Broken Arrow back at the Bartlesville tournament was probably one of my biggest games besides this one so far.
But you came in ready, and, I mean, you were making plays against the best team in your district at this point. What can you say about how you were ready to play and perform?
I just tried to get locked in and stuff and just focus really and, try to make myself, not really nervous. Because, on big games like this, a lot of people, you kind of get nervous and stuff. You just got to figure out a way not to get nervous so you don't mess up and stuff.
We definitely weren't nervous. Your defense against Furnish, and once you came in the second half and you stayed in that game, that was your guy. What can you say about how you were trying to defend him?
I was just trying to not let him get the ball because he's a really good player, and it's really hard to guard him because he's fast and stuff. So I was just trying to make sure he didn't get the ball as much as possible, and just try to let my teammates go and play defense while I just keep him out.
Did he get away with any hooking fouls or anything like that? Just curious.
Not really. A little bit on some screens and stuff, but it wasn't nothing too bad.
Right. Well, he's a crafty player. And then offensively, what allowed your team to come back?
We just got into moving the ball and stuff and moving around, and it got them a little confused and stuff. And then we were able to get shots and drive and find some lanes.
All right. Well, Brandon, that was an amazing game. Again, in the right time to have an amazing game. Congratulations.
Thank you.
All right, Tracy.
Hey, congratulations to Brandon Rogers, player of the game, sponsored by the Eastside Church of Christ. And, folks, what an amazing finish. Again, just to kind of recap a couple of things that happened in the second half of this game. It was Crossings Christian who had led from just a couple of minutes into the game. They scored first. Then it was a quick three by Hutch Russell that put Carl Albert up on top by one. Crossings Christian came right back down, took the lead back, and just continued to extend that lead throughout the game to the point where they were leading by either 17 or 19 in the third period. They led by 15 at the end of the third. Things were kind of falling apart for both teams there at the end of the third, and it was a 15-point lead for Crossings Christian at the end of 3 periods of play. Carl Albert comes out in the fourth period, and all of that kind of chaos that happened at the end of the third, they begin to pull it together and make some sense out of it. They hold Crossings to 1 field goal in the fourth period and 4 free throws, 6 points total in the fourth period, while putting more than double their own number of points on the board than any other period. 23 points in the fourth period by Carl Albert. And you can credit our player of the game, Brandon Rogers, for the defense on Cal Furnish, the phenomenal point guard for Crossings. You can credit Quincy Hopkins, who tops the 1,000-point mark in his high school career tonight, another big milestone. Congratulations, both of those guys. Quincy Hopkins hits 12 points in the fourth period, 16 in the second half total. And Carl Albert pulls down the 2-point win, 51-49 over Crossings to not guarantee, but give themselves a really solid shot at being second in district. Minimum. And they're not out of the race for first place.
No, if they win out, and they're playing 2 teams they should beat, Western Heights and then Altus for senior night, which we'll have that game on the network for you. It'll be the Altus crew handling that, but we will have it. And then Guthrie, they're right there as one of the best teams if they can beat Crossings on Tuesday. So for that Altus game, we'll have some scoreboard watching. During the girls' game, we got to see how El Reno does against Shawnee. The Crowlbrook girls need El Reno to win that game. Hopefully El Reno, for them, will have incentive in that game because they have everything all wrapped up. But this is high school, and usually normally you don't even think about districts at this point in the season. So, and teams still play their best anyway. And it's senior night for El Reno, and I'm sure the players want to keep their undefeated streak going. Of course, they have a game tomorrow, but I think they're El Reno. They should be taking care of that. So that will be what we watch during the girls' game. And then during the boys' game, we'll be paying attention to that Guthrie Crossings game, which I believe is at Guthrie. And so, that could really give Carl Albert, obviously the 1 seed if that happens. Now, either way, now Carl Albert just has to win, and they will host, though. And again, 2 teams that they'll be at home against, and they should be. So,
and it is at Guthrie, yes.
Right. So it'll be interesting to see how Crossings rebounds from this because then they got all the incentive now to definitely go and win that game against Guthrie. That was an amazing collapse. You got to give a lot of credit to Carl Albert. They made mistakes on offense, unforced errors, did the Titans, and the Knights certainly did in the second half. And I want to say one quick little correction. Quincy Hopkins reached the 1,000-point mark a few games ago. But we mentioned that as something he's just done as a big accomplishment in his career because that's, if you're a 1,000-point scorer in high school, you've had a good career.
Absolutely.
And he's been a good player for the varsity team since he was a sophomore. And well, he was tremendous. You need your guy that you want to create shots for you to be getting it done. And Carl Albert does this comeback, again, relying on a few of their starters and a few of their bench players who don't normally play a ton of minutes. And, I mean, I'll be interested to see what do we see from players like Brandon Rogers going forward because his confidence has to be sky high. It wasn't just the defense. It was the complete game that he had and Quincy Hopkins in the second half and then enough help from everyone else. And that was an ending I did not see coming.
I'm sitting here looking at the scorebook, Jordan. One of the things that I just noticed is you had 7 players scoring for Carl Albert. You had 1 player for Crossings who's come off the bench and put points. They had 1 bucket.
That's
one bench bucket for Crossings in the entire game.
And I would have said they definitely, heading into this game, had the deeper bench.
Yeah. So, just to kind of recap, for Crossings, the leading scorer in the entire game between both teams, Cal Furnish, 18 points. 15 of those came in the first half. He scored 3 points in the second half with Brandon Rogers defending him.
And he scored, and his first layup was at the beginning of the third quarter when Rogers was not out there. And so, he did very little against Rogers, maybe that 1 point on a foul. So, and that was a key point, that early layup he got because the rotation for Carl Albert on defense was so bad. I have to believe that's why Coach Price used his third timeout there. And then just found the lineup he wanted, and he didn't use another timeout till the final minute of play. And, man, they did just enough. And, what a win for him because Crossings, again, looked the part of a, potentially an invincible team. And I still think Crossings will be unbelievably tough. But, they got they'll be really frustrated about this one for a few days. If they can beat Guthrie, it won't matter very much for them. But there'll be some – this district, 5A1, very interesting district to watch. 5A2, everything's in both girls and boys, everything's kind of falling in place already. But 5A1, there'll be some interesting moving around potentially heading into the final day, which will be Tuesday.
Yep. So rounding out the scoring for Crossings, your 2 big men, Kim Parker had 11 points and Phoenix Woodson had 10. Evan Krotz had 6 points. You had 1 point for Matt Goodell in the game. That came as a free throw in the fourth period. And then the 1 bucket was a 3 by Coleman Ridley, who came off the bench and hit that one in the third period. For Carl Albert, your leading scorer was Quincy Hopkins. He had 16 points, all 16 in the second half. Next leading scorers were Brandon Rogers with 10 and Hutch Russell with 10. Now, Hutch had 9 points in the first half off threes and then a free throw there late in the game, right? Brandon Rogers had 7 points in the fourth of the 10 that he scored. Then you had 7 points for Jaden Hopkins in the game, most of that in the first half. 5 points for Steven Anderson, 2 points for Xavier Garcia, and then 1 point for Marcus James, and that was a free throw very early in the game, the only points Marcus James scored tonight.
And they'll need better from him, and I think they'll get better from him. I think he's a better basketball player offensively than what we saw, but, his offensive skills can seem a bit raw. I remember when he played last year for Bishop McGuinness, and they went to Del City. Now, Del City did not have their McDonald's All-American in that game, Brendan Garrison, but still, I was very impressed with Marcus James' play in that game. I know he can score for him. He and Ryan Reynolds can play a lot better for him. But we'll end this with saying, tune in tomorrow night. Maybe we'll have another Wild Boys game. You're kind of 2 for 2 on the boys' side anyway, Tracy, in the games we've done, or 2 of 3 in really close games. And we'll be back at Midwest City as they play Lawton MacArthur. Tip-off will be for the girls' game at 6, and so we'll go on about 5:50. And senior night for them, so we can't wait.
All right. Great night tonight. I hope you enjoyed the stream, and want to thank all of our sponsors that make it happen. Just a recap, some of those: Dynamic Health, Toonie Buys Houses, Bobby Lewis Insurance, Super Subs, Eastside Church of Christ, Buffalo Wild Wings, Casa Juanito, and Rose State College. This has been Middale Basketball. Carl Albert, boys and girls, getting the wins tonight over Crossings Christian. This Middale Basketball on the Oklahoma Sports Network.
Thanks for watching this presentation of the Oklahoma Sports Network.